Tickets to give away. The return of the ticket giveaway on the Mark Arum Show. We are giving away a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Fest with Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan, July 25th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. Updating our top local stories as well throughout the broadcast, but joining us live, I teased him. And I messed up. I'm going to blame Deborah because she's off today, a much-deserved day
Yeah, let's
vacation.
blame Deborah. She can't defend herself.
No, I'm blaming myself because without Deborah, I'm
you're a mess.
I'm hopeless.
Yeah.
But joining us is Channel 2 Action News investigative reporter Justin Gray in studio. Justin, as always, thanks for coming in, my friend.
Yeah, happy to be here.
All right, so this is a story, Channel 2 Action News at 5 today.
Yeah, we've actually got stories at 5 and 6 with different parts of this.
Okay, so a two-parter.
That's right.
I love a good two-parter. And this is a big local story. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a DeKalb County church.
So this is yep, we got the wrong thing. And so this is about something you and I have talked a lot about, which is retirement accounts being drained.
Oh, even better.
So and there's also tax implications. This is something new.
Okay.
How you get hit by the crooks, the federal government looks at that as income and comes looking for money too.
All right, so explain it to me like I am 6 years old. What exactly is the scam and how can it impact our listeners?
I mean, this is particularly elderly folks we're seeing, but we're seeing it with other people as well, being tricked out of their money by giving people access to their accounts.
And
we're seeing it.
I know someone that did that. Yeah.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this a lot. You know firsthand someone, very similar situation to that where the guy thought the people were there to help him.
Okay.
He thought it was people from the federal government there to help him, and they were getting access to his computer.
All right, so not only did they get whacked with losing funds from their retirement account, then comes Uncle Sam wanting their cut.
Yeah, Uncle Sam looks at that as income, believe it or not. You took all this money out of your retirement account. They say, well, that's income.
You got to get taxed on that.
Right, and you would think there would be a provision for this, and there was, but it was removed from the tax cut and code and the big Trump changes in 2017.
Okay.
So there used to be a protection, a deduction. It's gone. That means that, say, $200,000 that you had stolen, you got to pay taxes on that.
What's the recourse that someone that got scammed can do to not have to pay a tax bill on money that was stolen from them?
So right before we came down here, I was just talking to a law professor who's an expert in this, and she says there is none. I just got off a Zoom with her. There was a simple deduction. You just put a deduction in your taxes. That was eliminated. So it's up to Congress as a lot of these 2017 tax changes are expiring as they look at how they handle this going forward, to look into bringing this deduction back, which is just common sense, right? If your money was taken, your money was stolen, that's not income. The IRS shouldn't treat it that way.
Now, just anecdotally, I've been through not this situation, but years ago I had my identity stolen.
Yeah.
By the way, everyone freeze your credit right now. Do it. Go to Clark.com. He'll explain how to do it. My identity was stolen. Someone bought a car with my credit, and someone tried to file a tax return in my name. So I had to file a police report.
Yeah.
And eventually the person was brought to justice, et cetera. But I needed to file with my taxes this police report showing that, hey, this is not legitimate stuff. And now I have they have a special code to give me to file my tax report. I'm assuming the guy that got ripped off filed a police report. Once you have documentation that a crime was committed against you, can that help?
In most cases, no. They eliminated the deduction. It used to be really easy, just like that.
Yeah.
There was a line, the same way you deduct something else, you submit that police report, deduct the money, that deduction was eliminated. They eliminated a lot of deductions.
Yeah.
The idea was to simplify the tax code. This is probably, most of the people who voted for this probably didn't think about the effects of this. They were trying to simplify the tax code, but in the process, they made it really tough on some of these scam victims.
So, all right, I'm not familiar with the tax code or the penalties, but I'm assuming there's a pretty hefty tax if you cash out $200,000 early from your retirement account. That's heavily taxed. What kind of
that's
percentage?
your income. Well, yeah, I'm not. They tax it like income. So
Okay.
they look at you made an extra $200,000.
So like 35% or whatever.
Yeah. So and it also could affect if you're a senior, your Medicare. How much you pay for Medicare, your copay, that kind of thing. So talk about insult to injury for these folks who, as you know, because we've talked about it before with someone just a tragic situation made so much worse.
Yeah, Justin Gray joining us in studio on the Mark Arum Show. Two-parter tonight on Channel 2 Action News at 5 and 6. I'm definitely gonna watch your reports tonight. This is a huge story. Generally speaking, and we've been talking about these online scams. Is there what are the experts saying to help, and specifically the elderly are targeted? What can I do to protect my parents from falling victim to this?
And I would warn people. We think about the elderly, but we talk to so many people who are not elderly who also fall for these. I think you think you're too smart for it, but you're not. The most simple, the number one piece of advice: just hang up the phone. If somebody calls trying to scare you, trying to tell you your accounts have been hacked, we need to help you, we need to fix it right here, hang up the phone. If they say they're Wells Fargo, hang up the phone, call Wells Fargo. If they say they're American Express, hang up the phone.
I got one of those voicemails the other day. It was like, hey, it's Bob Thompson from American Express. We got a pressing blah, blah, blah. Call me right now. So well, first of all, the younger folks like me, I'm going to call myself younger, we don't answer the phone when it rings.
Right.
When it rings with an unknown number, I'm like, straight to voicemail. Get the voicemail from the guy pretending to be from the American Express. All I do is I log into my American Express account and say, all right, are they trying to contact me? No, there's nothing there. It was obviously a scam.
And most times, people don't. But if they catch you at just that wrong time, any of us are susceptible if they catch you when you're running between things, you're busy, you're stressed at work, you grab that phone, they scare you. The idea is to scare you, to get you to act faster than you want to. So just always hang up, call back, call the number on your card, call the bank directly.
All right. Final question, unrelated to this special report tonight. Did you take place in the polar plunge this weekend? Did I see that?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not polar plunge. No. Mark Winnie out there polar plunging. He's a yearly polar plunge.
Yeah. Have you done that before?
I did it in where it actually was polar in Humboldt County, California, my first TV job, where you jumped into the bay.
Yeah.
Now that was cold. 50 degrees in Atlanta, not so bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it, though. So hats off to Mark Winnie. I thought for sure you would be there, but I guess not. You were too busy working.
I was too busy working. It's all I do, Mark.
There you go. 5 and 6 tonight. Always good to see you. Sorry for the mix-up. Glad you can come in.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right, buddy. It's on me. This is on me. I'm not.
Deborah's going to let us have it when she comes back. We had the topic wrong and everything.
I
it's just
am
a
not
mess.
passing the buck. Completely my fault. All right, Justin Gray, special report tonight, 5 and 6 on Channel 2 Action News. We'll be right back on the Mark Arum Show.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Eric Erickson, Mark Arum, and Shelley Winter. No matter where you go, 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Hey, this is Rocco at Rocco's European Garage, and we invite you to come see us at our 6th location, now open off of Main Street, halfway between downtown Alpharetta and Milton. At Rocco's European Garage, we take pride in offering full service and repair on any European vehicle. You'll always get effective communication, upfront all-in pricing, and you approve the work prior to us beginning. Plus a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker, always at a better value than the dealership. Now open in Alpharetta or find a location near you at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Ready to transform your outdoor living space? Welcome to SPF Screens and Awnings, the experts in outdoor screen and shade products proudly serving Atlanta. At SPF, we tailor solutions just for you. With our custom-built screens and awnings, you choose the material, color, and design to match your style. Looking for comfort and privacy? Our motorized screens keep the bugs and sun out while allowing the breeze in with the click of a button. With SPF, our seamless turnaround means you'll have your products in just a few weeks. And with our 5-year warranty on hurricane screens and 10-year warranty on screens and awnings, you know you're investing in quality that lasts. We even offer flexible financing. Elevate your outdoor area today. Transform your outdoor living with SPF Screens and Awnings, where comfort meets style. For a limited time, enjoy $250 off our motorized awnings and screens. Purchase any awning and receive a free LED light upgrade to enhance your outdoor experience with a perfect ambiance day or night. Visit sunprotection.com to schedule your free consultation. That's sunprotection.com.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time and make the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home and skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs. When you receive a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. One of our clients, Jerry, said, Mark Spain Real Estate got us an offer in just 3 days, and it was over the asking price. I can't thank Mark Spain Real Estate enough. Don't worry about the inconveniences of selling your home. The guaranteed offer makes selling your home simple. I've been in business for nearly 30 years and have served over 58,000 satisfied clients, and I know what matters most: a quick sell and maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed offer will be and close in as little as 21 days. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
11:17 on the Mark Arum Show. Finally, better news for commuters on I-85 in Gwinnett County. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
Yeah, the crash is gone. 85 southbound, Beaver Ruin Road, exit 102. All lanes are back open. 85 south still hitting the brakes right around Sugarloaf Parkway with 316 westbound slowing, approaching the merge with 85 south, but just stick with it. Those delays are starting to shake out. Up in the Woodstock area, coming out of Kennesaw, right lane construction, 575 northbound, passing Bells Ferry Road, exit number 4, causing a brief slow zone. This report brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com for 60% off, and for UPS shipping, add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
45 years ago today, as heard on WSB Radio, 2 days after upsetting the Soviet Union, the U.S. Olympic team defeated Finland to win the gold in Lake Placid. Those are fans celebrating. So we all know the Miracle on Ice story, right? That people don't that weren't alive to know this. When the United States beat the highly favored Russian team, the USSR team, that wasn't the finals. That was the semifinals. So U.S. upset Russia. That was not the medal game. That was to advance to the gold medal game. And then 2 days later, they beat Finland to win the gold in Lake Placid. That was 40. God, getting old, man. 40.
That's 40.
Miracle on Ice was 45 years ago. 45 years ago. Crazy situation there. All right, very soon now, President Trump is hosting French President Macron at the White House, the latest foreign leader to visit Trump on what I call Kiss the Ring tour. Do have an update on that Doge email story that we've been following throughout the show here. Again, if you're just joining us, federal workers, I think over 2 million, received an email from the Elon Musk-led Doge saying, hey, you have until 11:59 p.m. on Monday to list 5 bullet points outlining what you did at your job last week, CC your manager. That was it. That was the end of the email. Then on X, formerly known as Twitter, Musk said if people don't reply by that deadline, we're going to consider you resigning from your job. Caused a lot of confusion. I think if he had just put that in the email, it would have alleviated some of the confusion. But Karen Travers has more on the reaction to this. White House correspondent Karen Travers.
There's a lot of confusion in Washington and across the country for the millions of federal workers who got that email over the weekend. And if they aren't following Elon Musk on social media, may not even realize that there is an ultimatum potentially on the table, because he has only put that in his social media post about if you don't respond to this email, you could potentially be fired.
And adding to the confusion is there are department heads, Trump-appointed department heads like Kash Patel, the FBI, telling his employees, don't worry about this email, don't reply. A lot of confusion going on. We'll continue to monitor that situation throughout the day. Do have an update on that Delta plane crash in Toronto. You remember last week, Longoria, we talked about Delta offering no strings attached, $30,000 to every. Well, it didn't take long. That offer, by the way, was like, we feel bad. Here's $30K. You can do whatever you want. No strings attached. You can sue us if you want. The lawsuits have begun. It took just 3 days for a U.S. lawsuit to be filed against Delta by an injured passenger on Flight 4819, which crash-landed in Toronto on Monday a week ago. Another complaint filed Friday morning, and more are expected. While the Transportation Safety Board of Canada investigates the cause, much of the aftermath of Monday's accident is set to play out in the courts as injured passengers seek additional compensation. Federal lawsuit filed by a passenger in Georgia on Thursday seeks an unspecified damage total of more than about $200,000. Another suit by passenger Hannah Krebs dropped in federal court in Minneapolis on Friday, alleging extreme bodily and mental injuries. The Georgia complaint alleges that passenger Marthenius Lorenz of Texas was seriously and permanently injured during the crash and evaluation, soaked in jet fuel, and suffered severe emotional distress and mental anguish. It also alleges the crew offered, quote, offered inadequate assistance and instructions or directions during the evacuation. Really? You're going to blame the crew? Jim Brauchi, an aviation attorney with Motley Rice representing Krebs, told the AJC he's spoken to a dozen passengers considering the suits this week and plans to file about 5 more. If you're wondering how long do these survivors have to file the suit, about 2 years. You have 2 years after the incident to file. Lauren's attorney, Andres Pereira, with the DJC law firm, estimated the totality of cost to Delta could add up to several million or tens of millions of dollars, depending on the extent of injuries and the total number of suits. But he said the airline's insurance is likely to cover the damage. So no matter what Delta has to pay, they're covered by their policy. Who's the insurance agent that sells the insurance to Delta? That guy's loaded, or woman.
Yeah.
Like, you're an insurance agent? How many accounts do you have? Oh, just one. I just Delta. That's it.
That's it.
That's all I do. Let's see. Pereira said Lawrence had safely returned to Texas on Thursday, was still in treatment, waiting to see if he needs back surgery. He said a timeline could be difficult to predict depending on whether Delta fights the cases. It's possible all lawsuits stemming from the accident could be consolidated as a mass tort, but it's also possible they could remain separate. Pereira said lawsuits against the manufacturer likely would not come until at least a preliminary investigation report. Bombardier, who developed the CRJ 900 model involved, sold its CRJ program to Mitsubishi in 2019. And if there's a meeting of minds with regards to the value of the case, then a settlement would certainly happen before trial. I don't think any of these go to trial. Trial does not benefit Delta at all. I think they're going to be more than generous. I think listen, I know there's some physical trauma, but there's a limit to that and mental anguish. Like, I mean, we'd all be freaked out if that happened to us. If we were in a plane that landed, flipped over, and caught fire, we'd all be freaked out. So there's got to be, monetary damages. But the big money will be the people that were really hurt, right? At last check, there were 2 people critically injured. They're the ones that are going to get multi-million dollars. but they all survived. Like, what's the typical payout to a family if someone dies in an airplane crash?
Yeah.
Whatever that is, you survived. You should get less money, I would imagine. I wonder if this has anything to do with Governor Kemp's new tort reform bill. I think that's just automobiles. Automobile? Maybe there's a connection there. Will Georgia residents, and since Delta's a Georgia company, will that fall under the tort reform as far as interesting? I'll quiz our legal minds there. I just don't think any of these cases go to court. Right, Delta, they've already gave $30,000.
They're just going to write the check.
They're just, listen, they're going to meet with everybody. What do you want? Okay, we'll counter. I can't imagine any of these will go to court. I can't believe they're blaming the flight attendants for.
Oh, one of them was, yeah.
Well, just saying, like, offered inadequate assistance and directions or instructions during the evacuation. They were upside down too, right? Did everyone get off safely? All right, they did a good job. That's a little. What did you want to offer you a beverage on the way out? While you're evacuating this plane,
they didn't
burning,
give them peanuts.
You want a Dewar's on the rocks? You want a Coca-Cola? Yeah, I'm sure the flight attendants did all they could to help in that evacuation. All right, so much to talk about when we come back. I got amazing tickets to give away to see Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. That's phenomenal. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. We'll come back. Macron is visiting President Trump, the latest on the 3-year anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war. And have you seen that Gabby Petito documentary on Netflix? I watched it this weekend. Holy smokes. I'll share my thoughts next on The Mark Arum Show.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Look, I know what's important to you when you're having some additions done to your house. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. That's why I love Ben Hill Renovations, my deck experts. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. They've been building decks for over 60 years. Every project comes with a dedicated project manager and is properly built with future county and city code requirements in mind. Plus, Ben Hill Renovations offers many options, different styles, types of wood, color, and finishes. They can also build screened-in porches, outdoor living areas, multi-story wraparounds, pretty much anything you can imagine Ben Hill Renovations can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Set up a design consultation or swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Woo, up top, bike shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messenthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo.
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
We're all getting long in the tooth, friends. Am I right? What about your heating and cooling systems? Are they aging? Well, let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. Reliable Heating and Air, licensed, bonded, and insured. Amazing service. I can tell you firsthand, Reliable is the best. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just amazing coverage for as low as $14.99 a month. And next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. So protect your aging heating and cooling system with the amazing folks at Reliable Heating and Air. Just $14.99 a month gives you amazing peace of mind. Get all the info and schedule a consultation online at ReliableAir.com. That's ReliableAir.com. Don't wait until your aging systems go kaput. Get your protection now at ReliableAir.com.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Are you heading out of town? Barlow Lexus of South Atlanta offers complimentary airport parking for their service guests. Let them care for your Lexus while you travel. Call 1-800-NEW-LEXUS to schedule your service appointment and utilize their airport parking concierge service.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. This is new this half hour. We've just gotten word that a plane was forced to return to Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport this morning after crew reported smoke in the flight deck. This was around 9 o'clock this morning, according to the FAA. It was Delta Flight 876 headed to South Carolina. There are no reports of any injuries. The FAA is now investigating. Your weather for today, it's going to be nice, mostly sunny with a high of 65, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. A child is dead following a crash on I-20 near Turner Hill Road in Stonecrest this morning. That accident had the interstate shut down for more than 3 hours.
On initial crew's arrival, they found 6 passenger vehicles disabled across the roadway. Then crash pretty much involved multiple injuries, entrapments, and ejections.
And Jason Daniels with DeKalb County Fire tells us 6 people were hurt. 3 of those patients are in critical condition. The cause of that crash still under investigation. Happening now in Cobb County, police say they're searching for a suspected shooter in connection with Sunday night's double shooting at the Main Event Entertainment Center on Cobb Parkway.
The officers discovered 2 victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Both of the adult male victims were transported by ambulance to a local hospital for treatment.
That is Sergeant Eric Smith with Cobb Police. He says there are no other injuries involved. Police are unsure of a motive, and they're asking anybody with information to call the Cobb County Major Crimes Unit. The FBI reports the body of a man from the United Kingdom has been found in South Georgia. 32-year-old Alex Daughtry reported missing by his mother back in 2022 after visiting Florida. Officials do not believe any criminal charges will be filed, though, in connection with his death. Sad news in the music world.
The first
Grammy-winning R&B singer Roberta Flack is dead at the age of 88. She announced back in 2022 that she had been diagnosed with ALS and could no longer sing. She died this morning at her home in New York. She was surrounded by her family. The Supreme Court is upholding the buffer zone around abortion clinics and a setback for opponents of abortion. The High Court deciding not to hear challenges to ordinances in cities in Illinois and New Jersey that ban anti-abortion activists from approaching someone trying to enter an abortion clinic. It limits how close protesters can get to the clinic entrances. 2 conservative justices, Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, said that they would have taken up the case, but it required 4. Let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow is currently up 168 points at 43,596. NASDAQ is down almost 0.5%, and the S&P is in positive territory, but only slightly. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. This update brought to you by Finley Roofing.
Continuing to shake out those delays between Duluth and Norcross via I-85 southbound. It's improving, leaving Duluth right around Sugarloaf Parkway, trying to get down toward Beaver Ruin Road where that earlier crash cleared. No need for an alternate there. 575 northbound. Heading up into Woodstock, construction continues in that right lane, just passing Belsary, exit 4. And then into DeKalb County, it's construction in the left lane of the 20 eastbound collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. The right lane in the same area of the through lanes also blocked, but the slowest part of it is going to be trying to make that transition from 285 north to I-20 eastbound. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 65, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 68. Sunshine and warm on Wednesday, morning low 43, afternoon high 72.
55 degrees in Sandy Springs and Woodstock. Lithia Springs has 56 degrees with clear skies. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
All lanes being held. 575 north at Highway 92, exit 7. Rolling
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
Officials diverting you onto Mansell Road.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Putin will be a pariah on the international stage. Any nation.
3 years ago today, former President Joe Biden discussing the Russia invasion of Ukraine. We'll continue our third-year anniversary coverage next on the Mark Arum Show.
Our weather is so unpredictable. Dry for days, then we get drenched with rain and storms. Then we go from soaking wet to arid dry, extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all that abuse. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Admit it, you have no idea how your roof is doing, right? It's okay. Let me help. There are signs you can look for. Inside your house, look for wet spots, water streaks, or dripping water on the ceiling, drywall, chimney area, or up in the attic. If that wet spot is now a dry stain, it's still a problem. Outside your home, check your roof for streaks and stains, loss of color or granules in your downspouts, gutters, or scattered on the ground. If you find any of these things, think of Findlay first. They're the perfect match for any roofing issues. They are the extra effort experts that have installed over 65,000 roofs locally. Plus, Findlay offers 0% financing. Get started with a free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
Roof. This is Congressman Mike Collins. In just a few short weeks, President Trump and House Republicans have worked to secure the southern border, root out government waste, and restore American energy dominance. Learn more about our efforts at collins.house.gov and let me know how I can best serve you as we turn our country around.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
11:36 on what's turning out to be a pretty beautiful Monday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Welcome back to all the federal employees that had to go back to the office today. I'm glad you were able to re-find our show on your commute to and fro. Getting back to our local stories in just a second, but amazing tickets to give away. I'm going to make you earn them because these are fantastic. I have a pair of tickets for the Outlaw Festival, July 25th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, featuring Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. I'm going to be there. I've got a lot of concerts coming up. We got the Wu-Tang concert and the Outlaw. I've never seen Bob Dylan or Willie Nelson in studio. So, Blue, we're going to make them work for it. It's the 25th of June, or July, rather. 25th of July. 25th caller to 404-872-0750. 25th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Fest with Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, July 25th, Ameris Bank Amphitheater. And hopefully I'll see you there because I definitely, you want to go to that show, Longo?
Heck yeah,
right,
man.
Fist bump. You're like my road dog now. You and I are just going to.
We're going to go everywhere.
Yeah, we're going to go everywhere together. All right, so there you go. 25th caller, 404-872-0750. Third anniversary of the Russia invasion of Ukraine. President Zelensky, as you heard earlier in the show, said he's willing to give up his presidency for peace or NATO membership for the former Soviet Republic. ABC News foreign chief correspondent Ian Pennell is in Ukraine on the weekend show of force.
Russia launching its biggest ever drone strike on Ukraine, the capital city of Kyiv under attack, anti-aircraft fire lighting up the night sky. Ukraine has weathered assaults like these every single day for almost 3 years. But now President Zelensky under political attack too, engaged in a bitter war of words with President Trump, who called him a dictator for for not holding elections.
And as Ukraine prepares to mark 3 years since the invasion, the Trump administration pushes its president for an agreement over the country's mineral rights. We talked about that earlier with Eric Erickson. Here's ABC News' Andrew Deinberg.
President Trump is demanding Ukrainian President Zelensky sign a deal to pay the U.S. $500 billion, which would include the U.S. taking the rights to a vast portion of Ukraine's natural resources. Zelensky pushing back, saying Ukraine received only $100 billion in American aid, not $500 billion, and arguing the money was given by Congress as a grant, not a loan.
Now, I know this is a touchy subject. I think it's well within President Trump's right to say, any further aid we give you, you need to pay back. If there wasn't an agreement already set up, you can't say, all right, you owe me from money I already gave you. For example, let's say Longoria comes to me last year, says, listen, the roles would probably be reversed. I would probably be coming to
Yeah, right.
the Longorias to ask for money. But let's just say last year you came back and you said, we're finally going to fix the fence in the backyard.
Right.
Can I get $3,000?
Right.
If you phrase it like that, of course, Longoria, I could do anything for you. $3,000, here you go, write a check. And then me 3 years later being like, hey, Longoria, you owe me $3,000. It wasn't a loan. There wasn't an agreement.
Right.
So it's, you could be like, you could tell me to kick sand. Like, you gave me $3,000. If there was not an agreement between the United States and Ukraine for the military aid we've provided, then we can't go and collect debts that weren't debts. Now, if there was an agreement, then yeah, give us our money back if there was an agreement. But moving forward, President Trump, well within his rights, saying, all right, you want our continued aid? This is a loan, dude. Zelensky. This is a loan. We're drafting this up. Whatever we pay and in support or give you weapons, we're getting paid back from your rare minerals. That perfectly acceptable. Biden probably should have done that 3 years ago. Considering how much we've given, there should have been an agreement probably. Like, all right, even if it was like, I've had friends that have borrowed money, not hundreds of billions of dollars,
Right.
but it's like,
no.
hey, can I have $500 to? Yeah, sure, of course. No hurry. Pay me back whenever. Like, that's usually whenever. Like, no rush. Just pay me back. Like, maybe that's sort of like, all right, when the war's over, we'll talk. You'll pay me back eventually. I don't need anything now.
But that needs to be set up front.
Exactly. Exactly right, Longoria. Interesting. I think that would be a great move from President Trump. And that would, I think, show, especially if, and we talked to Beth Noble about this, the former Moscow bureau chief, earlier in the show. If there is an agreement signed between the United States and Ukraine for the rare mineral rights, then we have skin in the game. Then the United States is like, oh, we need Ukraine to be independent because we have this deal in place for their rare minerals. I don't know what the heck the rare minerals are anyway. Diamonds?
Blood diamonds?
Hopefully not. Plutonium, uranium, I don't know whatever they are. But if we have that agreement in place, then we have skin in the game. Then we want Ukraine to hold off Russia. So I think that, listen, the next month or so, going to be very interesting when it comes to how history is going to look back on this. Exciting, nervous times. But this is really important time in human history right now. What is going to happen with this Russia-Ukraine war as we hit its third anniversary? Crazy stuff. Monitoring the East Room of the White House, French President Macron meeting with President Trump as the Kiss the Ring tour continues. If I get any audio, I will play that before the end of the show. I do want to talk about this Gabby Petito documentary. Have you seen it on Netflix?
I have not.
You know the Gabby Petito story, right?
Yeah.
The blonde missing hiker was riding cross country in a van with her boyfriend, posting a blog on YouTube. Hey, we're living the van life, whatever. She goes missing. She winds up dead. Dude kills himself. Horrible story. This documentary, it's worth watching on Netflix, by the way. I think it's 3 episodes. I didn't know. I mean, we covered the story. I remember covering it here on a daily basis when she went missing, and then the horrible tragedy. Like there's video, and this all happened in Northport, Florida, which is where I just was for the Braves fantasy camp. And so Laundry, the boyfriend's last name was Laundry. I think it was Brian Laundry. So the girl goes missing. Her parents file this missing persons report. And they have to do it in Long Island because that's where Gabby was from. So the Long Island police contact the Northport police. Be like, hey, can you check out Laundrie's parents, see if they know anything? So there's videos in this documentary. And the sheriff's department, whatever, police department, they go to the Laundrie's family, and his parents are there, and they won't let him in the house. They're like, talk to our lawyer. And the cop's like, we're just trying to find, do you have any idea where Brian is? And they're like, oh, Brian's here. And the cop's like, what? Like, why didn't you tell the parents that the boyfriend's home? And they're like, oh, he flew home, left her with the van out in Utah or whatever. Meanwhile, the van is in their driveway, like blatantly lying. They're like, oh,
wow.
I was like, what? I'd forgotten what, like, stick in the muds his parents were.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, he flew home and left the van. And the observant police officer's like, you mean the van that's parked in your driveway? And they're like, talk to our lawyer. We're not saying anything. They're just trying to find any info. And you just might as well stamp guilty, guilty, guilty on everyone's heads. Kudos to the police officer in Northport that was like, the van that's here, you're saying he didn't drive it back? How the hell? And it was registered in her name, so they towed it and impounded it. Crazy documentary. I'd forgotten a lot of that story. I definitely recommend it on Netflix. One more Netflix recommendation, Zero Day, new miniseries that popped up. Robert De Niro.
Okay.
Playing the former president of the United States. I've got one episode to go. So I'm going to give you my judgment after I see the finale. But I think this might be De Niro's final big acting performance. Dude's old. He's getting up there. But definitely check out the Gabby Petito documentary on Netflix. Hey, congrats to James in Jonesboro. He got tickets to see Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
I've got a sense of humor.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
The driver of this vehicle is a better human being than you are.
He's Eric Von Hessler.
I'm here to tell you the truth.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. Usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
If it's the big story, it's on 2. Channel 2 Action News this morning. I'm Fred Blankenship.
And I'm Lori Wilson. Big stories are always breaking. It may start in the morning, but the impact continues all day.
We're constantly working to bring you fresh information from different perspectives.
This is Developing Live. Our reporters are working to get you all the angles right now.
When it comes to the big story, this is always the place to get ready for your day.
Join us on Channel 2 Action News this morning every day, 4:30 to 7.
Have your previous remodeling experiences been stressful? Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Use Exovations and get a completely different experience. We're a state licensed contractor, show up on time, provide you a project schedule, a fixed price, and your project delivered on time, on budget, and without all that stress that you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free quote today at exovations.com.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claim's paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Hey, this is Rocco at Rocco's European Garage, and we invite you to come see us at our 6th location, now open off of Main Street, halfway between downtown Alpharetta and Milton. At Rocco's European Garage, we take pride in offering full service and repair on any European vehicle. You'll always get effective communication, upfront all-in pricing, and you approve the work prior to us beginning. Plus a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker, always at a better value than the dealership. Now open in Alpharetta or find a location near you at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
11:51 on the Mark Arum Show. Construction popping up on I-575. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
It's got traffic down to the far left lane. You're single file on that left lane with this work zone. 575 northbound, passing Bells Ferry Road, exit number 4 as you head between Kennesaw and Woodstock. If you'd like, you can use Highway 5 as an alternate, but just stick with 575. You'll only be slow for a little bit there. In DeKalb County, you got the daily road work. I-20 eastbound, that collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. Left lane of that ramp is blocked, and the right lane of I-20 eastbound block, but that's not causing any big issues as you head out toward Lithonia. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Roberta Flack was one of the voices that defined a certain kind of sophisticated pop soul music in the 70s.
That's Anthony DeCurtis from Rolling Stone magazine. Roberta Flack passed away at the age of 88. Love this song. We might have to do a whole retrospective tomorrow on Roberta Flack. 88 years old. She passed away. You heard that live during the show here. I believe I have an obituary, a Roberta Flack obituary. Yes. Grammy-winning R&B singer Roberta Flack has died at the age of 88. Her publicist confirmed the death to CBS News. One of Flack's biggest hits was her 1974 chart topper, Feel Like Making Love. This is what that sounded like.
Ooh, that's the time.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like making love.
I believe one of the Longoria daughters was conceived to this song.
Yeah,
I did not know this. Flack announced in 2022 she was battling ALS, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Wow, I'm going to be pouring over my Apple Music and just do a whole Roberta Flack retrospective later on today. Quick update. This is a crazy story that we were following here on WSB Radio. Crazy local story. You remember the Town Center Mall in Cobb County where they didn't pay their electric bill? Yeah. So anyway, Starcade Amusements, an arcade and tenant of Town Center of Cobb, now suing the mall's owner after the power was cut off last month due to delinquent bills. So this is Starcade Amusements. I don't know. I'm assuming it's an arcade kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
They're suing their landlord. The lawsuit filed in Cobb County Superior Court alleges that mall owners, Kohan Retail Investment Group, quote, did not use the monies they collected from their tenants, including the plaintiff, to pay utilities, but instead stole such funds, end quote. That's a big allegation right now. So not just saying, hey, you forgot to pay the bill. You stole the money that we paid for the bill. The complaint also alleges theft and fraud, which amounts to violations of the state's Racketeering Act and breach of contract. The suit comes weeks after the arcade and dozens of shops inside of Town Center lost a day's worth of business when the mall was forced to briefly close in January. The arcade makes $350 monthly utility payments. I pay more than that.
That's all they pay is $350? I mean, that's a lot. But
My freaking gas bill was $600 last month.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to Town Center.
Yeah.
All their utilities just $350. That's water.
Yeah, I'll live there.
Electric. Yeah, for real. Anyway, those are designated to the power bill and other services, according to a copy of a lease agreement, including in the court filings. Star wants to know where the money went, if not to pay the power bills that Georgia Power previously described as highly delinquent. Now, I've been delinquent paying bills. I've never been accused of being highly delinquent. That led to a temporary power shutoff last month. Businesses and customers alike were stunned to see signs posted on the mall's locked doors stating the shopping center had closed due to unforeseen circumstances. Georgia Power, in their defense, said it had given the mall owners several months to find a solution to avoid shutting off the lights. The power company said it restored service after the bill was paid up to date. That's crazy. How much... One day of lost revenue for Starcade Amusements. What is that? What do they make in a day?
I don't know.
35 hundo? Is that generous?
Yeah, that's generous. I mean, how many people are going to an arcade midweek, you know? Like, no one's, I mean, who's going on a Monday
all the truant kids.
Noon?
All the kids that... Did you have a truants officer in your town?
I don't think so.
We had a truancy officer.
And they would just check to see if you were like roaming the town.
I was like, I remember being in high school going, I want that job. Like this dude's job was to just drive around town, checking the pool hall, checking the arcade, Caldor. Like, any kids in here? Like, what a cushy job that is. And who's checking? Where's the oversight on that?
Yeah.
You can sleep until noon. Oh, maybe that's my once I retire from radio, I'll become a truancy officer.
I'm sure there's not like a lot of people you're bringing in every day. It's not like a daily thing. You're finding a kid somewhere, you know?
Unless maybe the school calls you up. Like, let's say I'm the truancy officer.
Bob is missing today.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron, Blue didn't show up for sophomore biology. Go find him. It's like an assignment.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
Dog the bounty hunter.
Yeah, he checks in every morning to see who's missing. You know,
that's a pretty good job, though. Unless there's oversight, you could slap. And worst case scenario, I'm going to go check out Enzo's Pizza in Norcross in Tucker to see if...
I'll be there for an hour looking under every table.
Exactly. I'm going to go to the Chick-fil-A, see if anyone... Like that. What a fantastic job that is. Doge, don't cut that job, because I want that job. I want to be a truancy officer. That's a cushy gig. I wonder if you get a pension. Gas
Longoria's fact of the day.
Gas mileage, yeah, right? Today's National Tortilla Chips Day.
Oh, that's why Deborah took off today.
Yeah, tortilla chips were first mass-produced in Los Angeles in 1940s. Doritos brand was the first toasted tortilla chip launched nationally in the U.S. in 1966. And in 2003, tortilla chips and salsa became the official state snack in Texas.
Can you find out for tomorrow's fact of the day?
Okay.
I'm going to guess that Cool Ranch Doritos outsell traditional Doritos.
It does.
You already have it?
There was something that I saw that said
All right,
that.
save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll save it for tomorrow. I'll look it up.
Yeah, we'll have that. I worked at a Mexican restaurant when I was in college, washing dishes. Toughest job I ever had. Oh, my God. And one of my duties was to make tortilla chips. And we had this hand. You take the tortilla uncooked, raw, lay it on, not raw, it was cooked, but like, and you lay it in the press and you got to cut them in and then fry them up.
And fry the little triangles.
That was a very difficult job. What was the name of that restaurant? Litchfield, Connecticut. I want to say La Feria, but that wasn't it. Anyway, very bad. I made $3 an hour scrubbing the baked-on cheese off a plate, and then they're like, "Oh, we're out of chips, Aaron. Make us chips." Anyway, you don't want to hear about my woes. Stars of the show. All right, let's see. CBS former Moscow bureau chief for CBS, Beth Noble, joined us to talk about the 3-year anniversary of the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. She gets the start of the show. Eric Erickson, man, you guys should be thankful. He could have a Trump position right now if he had joined Fox full time, but he's here to tickle your ears noon to 3. So Eric gets one for joining us live. Justin Gray from Channel 2 Action News. White House correspondent John Decker previewing the French president's meeting with President Trump today. He gets the start of the show. And Stephen Portnoy from ABC News. Longoria, you get one as well. Good job. I screwed up today. I'm not getting one. Social media is active at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a great Monday, Atlanta.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard, sponsored by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
You're going to see a lot of pitches. I'm already seeing them saying, hey, pay your tax bill due with a credit card and earn all these miles and awards and rewards and all that. Because the fees you have to pay are so high because you've got to pay the merchant fee that the rewards aren't worth it. Best thing, just pay them a simple way with money, not with credit.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12 o'clock on this Monday, February 24th. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Our top story, some scary moments for some Delta passengers this morning. A plane was forced to return to Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport after a crew reported smoke in the flight deck. This was around 9 o'clock this morning, according to the FAA. It was a Delta Flight 876, headed for South Carolina. No reports of any injuries. The FAA is investigating now this afternoon. Mostly sunny and 65. How's the rest of your work week looking? Well, WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. And investigations underway this noon after an I-20 westbound accident shut down the interstate for 3 hours this morning. It was a multi-car pileup, and it did leave a child dead. And this noon, we have just gotten the identification of that child who was killed. She's been identified as 11-year-old Nava Govin.
6 cars were tangled on I-20 near Turner Hill Road. DeKalb Fire and Rescue Captain Jason Daniels says there were multiple injuries.
We had a total of 7 patients that required medical attention, 2 of those being juveniles, which were ejected from the vehicle. And tragically resulting in 1 fatality.
The children were taken to Arthur Blank and the adults to Grady Hospital. At the time, those taken to hospitals were all in critical condition. No word yet on the cause of the crash. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
All right, so how was your drive in this morning? Seems like a little more crowded on the roads this morning. You were right. It is back to work in person for thousands of federal workers today. The Trump administration's order is creating some logistical challenges at places like the Atlanta-based CDC.
The CDC's Clifton Road campus will have nearly twice as many workers on site after the final step of the 3-phase return, which starts today with senior officials reporting back.
Then there's a March 17th date of all other employees within 50 miles. And then the final phase is on April 28th, which is all other employees outside of 50 miles.
The CDC's Jeff Williams says they're ramping up shuttles to and from MARTA stations and exploring off-campus parking for all the extra cars. He says the numbers from recently announced layoffs are still being determined, but will factor into their planning. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
The Atlanta Journal-Constitution's reporting today that 7 former Alpharetta police officers and another still employed by the department have filed claims against the city with the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission over the past 5 years, alleging discrimination based on factors like race, age, and sex. Now, that is the largest number of claims among small to medium-sized police departments reviewed by the Atlanta newspaper. Alpharetta officials denying the discrimination claims in each case, including a sexual harassment claim that the city settled for $125,000. The music world today mourning the loss of a legendary singer.
CBS News Special Report.
Strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words.
Roberta Flack has died. She became an overnight star in 1972 with her song, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, and followed it with Killing Me Softly with his song. The song soared to the top of the Billboard charts, and she became the first artist to win consecutive Grammys for Best Record. Anthony DeCurtis is a contributing editor at Rolling Stone magazine.
Roberta Flack will always be remembered for the massive hits that she had in the 70s. But, she never really changed her style. It was a kind of level of adult, sophisticated soul music that always had an audience.
Roberta Flack announced in 2022 she had ALS. She died today in her home in New York. She was 88 years old. CBS News Special Report. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Medical update this noon on the Pope. Pope Francis is resting and eating normally as he remains hospitalized. The Vatican saying that the Pope slept through the night and is in good spirits. He was sent to the hospital earlier this month after coming down with bronchitis. The 88-year-old was diagnosed earlier this week with double pneumonia and is receiving oxygen therapy. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has told his agency's civilian employees to ignore an Office of Personnel Management memo to all federal workers over the weekend, requiring them to show 5 things that they worked on last week. Hegseth's pushback is notable since Elon Musk added on Twitter that failure to comply was reason to be fired. Charlie Daggett reporting from the Pentagon this afternoon, where threats of job cuts have been headed for at least a week.
Aiming at people who were on probation, that would have been easiest. Then they pulled that right back, and that happened on Friday afternoon. They said, well, wait a minute. Okay, this is going to be complicated, aside from the fact that it might actually have an impact on military readiness.
Apple announcing today it's going to spend more than $500 billion here in the United States over the next 4 years and hire some 20,000 people. CBS News technology contributor Ian Shear says this is the latest investment by the tech giant in the U.S.
Apple has made similar announcements before. In 2021, it committed $430 billion in U.S. investments and 20,000 new jobs across the country over 5 years. And it's also drawn attention to increased efforts outside its home state of California, including in Texas and Michigan.
As we take a look at the markets here at noon, the Dow's up 154 at 43,582. NASDAQ is down. The S&P is up slightly. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams has a look at your roads.
Got a new stall on the West Freeway. Heroes with it. They're in the right lane, 20 eastbound, right at 285, exit 51. A few brake lights back toward Fulton Industrial Boulevard, but a Hero should get that off to the right soon. Traveling downtown, just a little bit of volume starting southbound from the 85-400 merge as you make your way into Midtown. And don't forget about that right lane construction through Kennesaw into Woodstock, 575 northbound, getting past Bells Ferry Road, exit number 4. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Time now for your 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official heating of winter.
Sunny skies today, high 65. That's trending about 5 degrees above average. Clear and cool tonight. Lows back down to the upper 30s, low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 68. Wednesday will be the warmest day this week. Sunny skies, morning low 43, afternoon high 72. But a cold front moves through on Thursday with a few hit or miss light rain showers, daytime high 64. Cooling down on Friday, highs in the upper 50s, low 60s, but bouncing back up into the mid to upper 60s for this weekend.
More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. I hope you had a great weekend across these United States. The phone number, if you want to be on the program, 877-973-7425. If you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast. Follow me around on social media, all those great things. We have, big news we've got to talk about out of the gate here. Before we get into politics, the German elections, the border, any of that sort of stuff. Apple. Now, I'm old school. I call it Apple Computer. For years, Apple had to call itself Apple Computer because of Apple Music. The Beatles record label was Apple. And so Apple Computer wasn't allowed to do much. Steve Jobs, big Beatles fan, finally settled it with Apple. And Apple Computer became Apple. And Apple is now the wealthiest company on planet Earth thanks to the iPhone, which my producer refuses to use out of spite. even though I make him use a Mac. I am an Apple guy. When I go to New York, I walk around the Cube on Fifth Avenue 7 times praying to Steve Jobs before I enter, as all real members of the cult do. I have literally on my desk right now, I have an iPad Pro, I have my iPhone, I have my Apple Watch, I have 3 Apple monitors, I have a Mac Mini, I got my Apple keyboard, I've got my Apple TV at home, I've got my MacBook Pro and several more monitors. I'm an Apple guy. It just works. It works across platforms from iOS to the Mac. It just works. But Apple spends a lot of money and a lot of time making things in communist China. And today, Apple is actually shaking things up significantly. A huge manufacturing win for Donald Trump. In fact, I find it very notable. Apple is a very progressive company. Tim Cook is an Auburn grad. I won't hold it against him now that my son thinks he wants to go to Auburn. Tim Cook is a progressive. You know, Steve Jobs was progressive, but he was never into throwing Apple's money at progressive causes. Tim Cook has. But Tim Cook is infuriating the left by playing nice with Donald Trump, even writing a large personal check to Trump's inauguration, and now announcing $500 billion and hiring 20,000 people over the next 4 years with an expansion and construction plan coast to coast inside the United States. It's a very big deal. One, it shows that corporate America is finally starting to realize they can't do everything in China. Two, it shows that the mere threat from Donald Trump of tariffs is getting some American companies to domestically rebuild. Three, it's also a big win for red states that are not heavily unionized. There's a trap there, though. We got to be careful. This is the largest ever spending commitment from Apple, according to Apple. Now, Mike Allen was on CNBC this morning talking about this. It's worth listening to. Mike Allen is from Axios. Axios, of course, is a left-wing site, but it got the scoop this morning on the Apple investment in the United States.
This Apple announcement this morning, which just popped 6 a.m. Eastern, all the details are up, the lead story on Axios. This is a landmark story for a couple of reasons. One, the effort by the president to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. This is a massive commitment to that. And as we say in our story, this gives Trump the leverage to say to other companies, Apple can do this. Apple is bringing these jobs into the U.S. Apple is investing in the U.S. Why can't you? Why won't you? And the statement out this morning from Apple CEO Tim Cook, talking about being bullish on the future of America, talking about writing an extraordinary new chapter in the history of American innovation. So that's one bucket. Two, there's an incredible footprint for this. This is all across the United States, and it's part of the big story that Axios has been telling, that it's no longer just the coast. Look at where some of these big investments are. The swing states of Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Nevada, red states, the massive investment that you were talking about in Texas, a big innovation lab in Michigan. So a footprint all across the country. And third, if you look at how the U.S. is going to have a sustained recovery, it's going to be about building things, making things, doing that more in the U.S. This is a big step toward that.
Now, here's the thing. What's the expansion in? It's going to be research and development, silicon engineering, software development, AI and machine learning. Apple plans to greatly expand chip and server manufacturing inside the United States, plus skills development for students and workers around the country. Big investment in technology in the United States from Apple. Now, I want to reread for you, and this is from Axios. Apple plans to greatly expand chip and server manufacturing in the United States. There's an undercurrent here that no one seems to catch, but it's actually a phenomenal undercurrent. And I'm surprised that no one has reported on this. There is a single company on planet Earth that's headquartered in the Netherlands that makes chips at scale that are very, very small. There's a single company. It owns the machine. The machine is a very massive machine. There are, I want to say, like less than a dozen of these machines on planet Earth. If you want to make nano-sized chips that do AI and integrated circuitry, you have to use that machine. And because of the complex nature of the machine and the national security implications of the machine, that machine cannot be located in communist China. But it is located in Taiwan. TSMC in Taiwan has one of these machines. Apple makes a vast array of its chips in Taiwan with this company. If something were to happen to Taiwan, the ability for Apple to make the chips for its computers and its iPhones would disappear. Apple doesn't make the chips in China. Apple's not allowed to make the chips in China because the chips can only be made in this particular device, and this device is not allowed to be imported into China for national security reasons. So Apple moving its chip production, supply chain, and engineering team into the United States is in large part to protect Apple with the coming strife with China. But also it's going to red states. It's not going to blue states, where the cost of labor is cheaper in red states. The deregulatory cost is going to Arizona. It's going to Texas. It's going to Nevada, which is a swing state, not really a red state. But also there is a bit of a red alert here as well for some of these swingy red states. What happens when a bunch of progressives from Apple take up residence in some of these swing states? What do you think is going to do to the politics? Look at Georgia. Where I am here in Georgia, Georgia's fantastic red state, but as major economic centers have come to Georgia, moving employees out of other states to this state, it has demographically changed the state. It's now more of a swing state. So there is kind of a worm in the apple, so to speak, politically there, if you're not very careful. Notwithstanding that, it's a major investment. So in Texas, there will be new advanced AI server manufacturing factory outside of Houston. The 250,000 square foot server manufacturing facility is going to open in 2026 and will create thousands of jobs. Texas is becoming a massive research hub. The other thing here is that with AI, it's going to be power intensive. Notice Apple is avoiding at all costs a lot of states that are heavily reliant on solar and wind. I wouldn't be surprised if we at some point find out they're going to be expanding inside the state of Georgia, where they now have the first nuclear power plant built in the United States in the last several decades. There's also another caution here. How much of this is for show? Now, not a lot of it, I guess, since a lot of this stuff is coming online as early as next year. But if you will recall, Apple committed to a massive, massive investment in the state of North Carolina after Joe Biden got elected. And this is kind of the funny political part here, is a lot of progressives are attacking Apple today. How dare you help Donald Trump? But in 2021, after Joe Biden's election, Apple committed $430 billion in U.S. investments and 20,000 new jobs around the country over 5 years, including in Research Triangle Park of North Carolina, where they paused the development last year. Apple says it's working with Josh Stein, the Democratic governor there, and the North Carolina Department of Commerce to extend the project's timeline, and it continues to hope that it's growing at its corporate office in Raleigh and data center in Catawba, where they have exceeded their planned investment. But concurrent to all of that, very intriguing to me that Apple had launched this sort of stuff after the Biden administration came in and slowed it all down over 4 years. So the question will be how much of this is for show to placate Donald Trump. And the left's attack today is already that this is for show, that this is Apple playing politics. At the same time, their major facility in Texas, $250,000 square foot server manufacturing facility, is going to come online next year and create thousands of jobs. So Texas is going to win big with Apple. Elon Musk has already moved its facility there. Meta is thinking it may reincorporate in the state of Texas. Texas is becoming a new major hub. And part of me does wonder, I got to admit, I got to confess, the political brain of me is wondering, what is this going to do to the socio-political economics of Texas? Is it going to shift the state to the left? Is this why so many people are uprooting from California, running to Texas? They're trying to get a lock on Texas's electoral college votes for the left. I don't know that that's happening. That's the wild, paranoid pundit in me. I don't really know, but it is good economically for Texas. It's good for these other states. It's good for the United States. And really, it's good for Donald Trump as well. One of the ancillary downsides of this, though, is there is a pretty common consensus that tariffs are actually bad. Tariffs economically, they're not actually good. Donald Trump has not imposed tariffs yet. He's threatened tariffs. And the threat of the tariffs has curbed behaviors from other nations and also changed the behaviors of American companies. So what Trump is learning is that the threat of tariffs is actually a good thing because the threat of tariffs is changing people's behavior. But what happens when people's behavior doesn't change and Donald Trump continues to go down the tariff road? That could wreck everything economically. You'll have a sugar high for a year or so as tariff revenue comes in, and then a sugar crash when the inflationary costs of tariffs outweigh the benefits of the tax. There are dangers here. We would be wise as a mature people to assess the dangers. But concurrently, you got to say, thus far, Donald Trump has been able to get out of the wealthiest company on planet Earth something Joe Biden couldn't. A bigger spend, a continued spend on the old commitment, and 20,000 jobs, mostly in red and swing states. Big economic win for these companies. Big economic win for these states. Big economic win for Donald Trump. This is what Making America Great Again looks like.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220, Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching the work zone up in Kennesaw, heading toward Woodstock, 575 northbound, passing Bells Ferry Road, exit 4. That is in the right lane, your single file in the left lane. No big need for an alternate. Just stick with it. You'll only be on the brakes for a few minutes there. If you're traveling into DeKalb, you got the construction. 20 eastbound, that collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. The left lane of that ramp is blocked. They also have the right lane of I-20 itself blocked, and just found construction. Thornton Road northbound at Oak Ridge Road in Lithia Springs. That's in the right lane, causing some delays coming up from I-20. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
Several people feel sick after a gas leak inside a residence inn on Peachtree Street.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
We had a total of 5 patients that were transported.
Your 24/7 news source. When you need the story, all you need to do is listen.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it squeaking and whining for attention? Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is here with same-day repair service. Experienced technicians have been servicing homeowners in Atlanta since 1935. That's 90 years. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta can handle all your garage door and opener needs. For same-day repair service, schedule online at overheaddooratlanta.com or call 404-USA-DOOR.
When it comes to beautiful, they wrote the book. Siding, paint, windows, and doors gives your home a brand new look.
At Superior Pro, we use the highest quality materials and the best techniques in windows, siding, painting, doors, and more. Plus, all our projects come with an extended labor warranty. Visit SuperiorPro.com for a free in-home design consultation.
Superior Pro, the pros to know.
Belinda Skelton here for Virtual Imaging, and I have their Chief Operating Officer, Barry Petrie, here in the studio. Barry, tell us what virtual imaging is all about.
Thanks, Belinda. Great to be here. So we have been in business for 15 years, and what we do is we empower folks in the Atlanta area to come in and advocate for their own health and scan for things like heart disease, cancer, aneurysms, and other ailments as well.
How important is it for folks to get that heart scan?
Very important. Heart disease is the number one killer of Americans, so that's the most important test we want to get as a baseline. Most Americans will die as a result of cardiovascular disease. So if you're going to get one test, that's the one you want to get. And that test will quickly tell you if you have any calcium or plaque in your 5 arterial pathways. The scan itself will take less than 10 minutes, and you will get your results within a day or two.
Barry, I know that virtual imaging screens for so many different things. Tell us what some of the areas of the body you screen for.
We can do anything from head to pelvis. So we can do the heart scan, we can do the head scan, we can also do what I call a core body scan. So that's looking at all those areas between your neck and your pelvis. We're looking for aneurysms, we're looking for tumors, we're looking for cancer, any of those things. So think of this as an ability to do a very wide screening area of the body.
This is Heart Health Month, so you have an offer for us.
Anyone who calls in will get a free heart scan for you and a spouse.
And that number to call is 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Go to virtualimagingatl.com.
If it's the big story, it's on 2. Channel 2 Action News this morning. I'm Fred Blankenship.
And I'm Lori Wilson. Big stories are always breaking. It may start in the morning, but the impact continues all day.
We're constantly working to bring you fresh information from different perspectives.
This is Developing Live. Our reporters are working to get you all the angles right now.
When it comes to the big story, this is always the place to get ready for your day.
Join us on Channel 2 Action News this morning every day, 4:30 to 7.
It's Eric here, and with the election ended, there is change in the air. A new day dawns for American businesses. New regulations, new deregulation, new tax plan, new tax cuts. You may be smelling opportunity in the air. You may be seeing opportunity. Now is the time to consider reaching out to First Liberty Building and Loan and see if they might be able to help you put your plan that's in your head down to paper and see if they can help you capitalize on it. There's so many opportunities out there. If you need to borrow $750,000 or more, well, First Liberty might be able to help you. They make their own lending decisions. They've been doing it since the 90s. They know how to do it, and because the Frost family's been helping businesses since the 90s, they're still going to be there. You're not going to have lender rollover like you've had at other places. Reach out to them, FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. Spend 10 minutes with them, see if you're a fit for them and them for you. FirstLibertyGA.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
You absolutely should text DATA to 33777, or data, as I say it, to 33777. Subscribe to the show notes. Get all the show prep, my stack of stuff delivered to your inbox as I start the show so you can follow along. You don't have to take my word for it. Apple says it is going to create about 20,000 new jobs inside the United States over the next 4 years. Meanwhile, Starbucks is laying off about 1,100 corporate employees and will not fill open roles as the company has hard times. I got to say, between the end of DEI and Starbucks laying people off, it's harder and harder for people with gender studies degrees to find jobs in this country. Now, the good news for the gender studies crowd is they're not actually going to lay off any baristas, so they can still keep their primary job. I don't like it when you hear about layoffs and stuff, and don't want to root against people, but part of Starbucks' problem is, like a lot of progressive companies and a lot of progressive institutions, it just continued to grow its internal bureaucracy. And the new CEO, Brian Niccol, has decided it's got to streamline it. It's like Starbucks, a buddy of mine who used to work there explained it as kind of like a school board. You know, with school boards, we're not actually spending a lot of money on kids in classrooms so much as we got deputy, under superintendent, junior, twice removed of the photocopier. And we've got the deputy, junior, undersecretary, superintendent of the hamburger and the cafeteria food line, and just more and more administrators. And that's apparently part of Starbucks' problem, is it grew the administrators and the bureaucrats within Starbucks, and they've been weighing the company down, and it becomes this Politburo to get anything done. So the CEO changing that up. I suspect we're probably going to have more of this. In addition to all the DEI layoffs that we're starting to see in the country, one of the wild and interesting things to me is even very progressive companies, like, for example, Costco and Apple say they're not getting rid of DEI. They have uses for DEI, but they're not expanding those uses anymore. They're not pushing forward. In fact, there's been a bunch of research to suggest that the more companies invest in DEI, the lower their productivity is, and the more difficult their workforce becomes. Why? Because you got a bunch of people inside the company radicalizing employees against the company to hate the company. The left would have you believe that Donald Trump becoming president is forcing companies to be scared, to jump back, to get away from things they want. The reality is this is a reversion to the norm. This is a reversion to the norm. These companies did not want DEI, but they felt bullied into it by the left after the George Floyd death and then the rise of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And now they're walking back to the norm. That's what it is. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Unfortunately, people are losing their jobs, but their jobs were just bureaucratizing Fortune 500 companies. Now, I got to tell you about Vision Computer because I love them and I love their computer and I love their tech support, and you will too. If you need a new computer, you need an upgrade to your computer, reach out to them. VisionComputers.com, VisionComputers.com, or call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them I sent you. You'll save even more money, and you get thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews backing up just how good they are. Look, with everybody getting scammed these days with emails and viruses, having Vision in your corner could really help you with your computer. They can protect you. They can help you. They can then ease the burdens of, am I going to get hacked? Am I going to have viruses on my computer? But also, am I getting the best computer for the dollar? With Vision, you will. They're not going to take advantage of you. They're going to take care of you. They handle email support, printer support. They can even do it for your company. If you buy your computers from Vision, they can handle your employee tech support concerns as well. All you do is call them at 404-COMPUTER, go to visioncomputers.com. And if you want their tech support, but you don't need a new computer, they can handle that as well. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. We have now learned the name of the child who was killed in that multi-vehicle crash this morning on I-20. It shut the road down for 3 hours. The DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office has now identified her as 11-year-old Nava Govan. DeKalb Fire and Rescue Captain Jason Daniels telling WSB 6 other people were injured and taken to the hospital. He says 3 were badly hurt.
They were critical as we transported them to the hospital this morning.
The cause of that crash is under investigation this afternoon. All right, your weather, mostly sunny and warming up to 65 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast just minutes away. A plane was forced to return to Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport this morning after crew reported smoke in the flight deck. It was around 9 o'clock this morning when it happened, according to the FAA. It was Delta Flight 876 headed to South Carolina. There are no reports of any injuries. The FAA is investigating. Those passengers did make it to South Carolina this morning. Cobb County Police say they're looking for one suspected shooter in connection with last night's double shooting at the Main Event Entertainment Center on Cobb Parkway. That suspect is on the run this afternoon. Officers found 2 gunshot victims when they arrived on scene. They were responding to reports of shots fired shortly after 9 p.m. Both victims are adult men, and they were taken to the hospital for treatment. No update yet on their conditions. Starbucks is laying off workers. The company announcing today that they're laying off 1,100 corporate employees globally. They say it's an effort to streamline operations. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is currently up 192 at 43,620. So the Dow's up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ is down slightly, and the S&P is in positive territory. It's 12:32.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from My Roofer, FGA Roofing. You know, it's not uncommon to see 25-year roofs lasting only a dozen years or so. That's why roof maintenance is so important. Taking care of the things you can't see from the ground that are robbing years of service from your roof. FGA Roofing is now offering a subscription maintenance plan that'll go a long way towards making sure your roof will last as long as it's supposed to. Not only spotting problems when they're small, but professionally cleaning your roof and gutters, securing flashing, adding new pipe collars, and more, including an inspection report so you know exactly what's up there. Most all leaks are covered under your maintenance plan, whether FGA Roofing installed your roof or not. I've paid more to get my gutters cleaned in the past. For roughly what you pay monthly for streaming, you'll be adding years of good-looking service to your roof. And when it's time for a new roof, you're in line for a $1,000 discount as a preferred FGA roofing maintenance customer. Just mentioned you heard about it from Scott Slade. Just search FGA Roofing to get started.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Right now, select varieties are buy two, get two free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Still watching that slow zone between Kennesaw and Woodstock. Right lane construction, 575 northbound, getting past Bells Ferry Road, exit number 4. Also got the construction in DeKalb. It's in the right lane of I-20 eastbound approaching Wesley Chapel, but the slowdown is going to be in that collector distributor ramp coming off of 285, heading out 20 eastbound toward Wesley Chapel. Left lane of the collector distributor ramp there. No need for an alternate. Just pack the patience coming over from the east side perimeter. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny today, highs in the mid-60s.
We have sunshine and 58 degrees in Snellville and Stockbridge. Ackworth has 55 degrees. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, even when it isn't popular. You're listening to The Erick Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Erick Erickson. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. If you want to text the word data to 33777, you can get the show notes. Now, we got other stuff we got to move on to, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff being fired by Donald Trump. The former now chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff was Charles Q. Brown. He was the 21st chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Joe Biden made him the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in 2023. What is the Chiefs of Staff are the Chiefs of Staff of the military. So with the Chiefs of Staff, by the way, the acting Chief of Staff right now is Christopher Grady from the Navy. So you've got what? The Navy, the Army, the Air Force. You got the heads of the highest ranking military members in the armed forces make up the Chiefs of Staff. And then one of them is appointed by the president to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, or chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So now, what is the significance of this firing? A lot of people don't know. What I find very funny, though, is that many reporters, including Susan Glazer from the New York Magazine, whose husband is Peter Baker of the New York Times, neither of them like Donald Trump, she rushed to say, sources tell me it's because he's black. That's right. Charles Quinton Brown Jr., the former chairman now of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, was actually the first black man to lead a branch of the United States Armed Forces. He led the United States Air Force as the chief of the Air Force. Do you know who made him the head of the Air Force, the highest ranking member of the Air Force? Any idea who made him that? That would be Donald John Trump, 45th president of the United States. That's right. And I quote from Wikipedia, Brown, nominated by President Donald Trump during his first term, became the first African American to lead a branch of the United States Armed Forces, later nominated by President Joe Biden to become chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Now, I don't know anything about the outgoing or now former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, but a big deal was made that, well, you know, he appeared in a video commenting on the death of George Floyd. So probably it was wokeism. Probably they were upset about that. Y'all, how about, just wild idea here. How about Donald Trump decided to get rid of Joe Biden's major appointees? I would point out that when Barack Obama became president of the United States, Barack Obama not only downsized the American military, but also got rid of a number of senior officers within the military who had loyally served under George W. Bush. No one screamed racism. No one screamed anything like that. Everyone on the left, the media, Democrats in Congress, they were all perfectly happy for the president, when it was Barack Obama, to purge officers from the military and lay off members of the military. They were perfectly happy that he did this. But with Donald Trump, they're screaming racism. Now, Donald Trump has named a replacement. His replacement is John Daniel Cain. His nickname is Raisin. And apparently the first time Donald Trump met him, he said, "Raisin like the fruit." And Lieutenant General Cain replied, "My last name is Cain, as in Raisin Cain." And Donald Trump loved it. Now, he's retired. He's a retired lieutenant general, 3-star, venture capitalist, served as associate director for military affairs of the Central Intelligence Agency under Joe Biden. Now named to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's a graduate of the Virginia Military Institute from 1990. Served in the Air Force, served as Deputy Commanding General for Operation Inherent Resolve from 2018 to 2019, Director of Special Access Programs, Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisitions and Sustainment from 19 to 21. If he's confirmed, he would be the first chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to have never served at the rank of general or admiral before assuming the position, and the second to have been retired at their time of confirmation after Maxwell Taylor. Now, Maxwell Taylor, just so you know, was in World War II, commander of the 101st Airborne, and John Kennedy named him the 5th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. There's an interesting byline here. Kind of like, you know, I think a lot of stuff is missing in context for Apple moving its major semiconductor and AI chip manufacturing to the U.S. People are ignoring the ties related to getting out of Taiwan, coming back here. And again, let me read you this line from his bio. John Daniel Cain served as Deputy Commanding General for Operation Inherent Resolve and the Director of Special Access Programs in the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment, before being reassigned by Joe Biden to be Associate Director of Military Affairs of the Central Intelligence Agency. Y'all, one of the biggest problems we have in the military right now, a problem that the current Joint Chiefs have been unable to fix, is acquisitions and sustainment. It's actually a huge problem. Huge problem. We can't make ships in this country efficiently, let alone submarines. Many of the components of our technology for weaponry are actually made in China or Taiwan. You have China shut down Taiwan, it's going to put our military at a disadvantage, the ability of us to remanufacture component technology inside the United States. This guy is intimately familiar in that. Intimately familiar with the supply chain logistics problems the military has been facing. He also has an inside track for our intelligence community. So the National Press Corps is outraged by General Brown being fired by Donald Trump. The Democrats are screaming mad about General Brown being fired. They're screaming the race card about General Brown being fired.
Unfortunately, Congressman Kleber, he constantly pulls the race card out. This has nothing to do with this. We're a civilian force, and the president gets to choose his closest advisors, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is his closest advisors. Obviously, he said very positive things about General Brown, even when he was dismissing him. But the president has a right to pick people around him that he wants to, that he trusts. And at some point, he chose to go a different direction. This had absolutely zero to do with race. Keep in mind, the reason why he was on the promoted the first time was because President Trump did that in his last administration. So that it's dangerous every time the left wants to pull out the race card. It's dangerous and reckless and ridiculous.
That's Markway Mullen, the senator from Oklahoma. Jim Clyburn out there screaming, it's racism, it's racism. Never mind that General Brown got appointed to the Joint Chiefs of Staff by Donald Trump. But it's racism to get rid of him. Here's Jack Reed where's Reed from? Delaware?
Were superb professionals. They were committed to their oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. And apparently what Trump and Hegseth are trying to do is to politicize the Department of Defense. And it's not surprising. They put Kash Patel as the FBI director, who is a partisan, who has no, I think, respect for the traditions of neutrality of the FBI. And now they've turned to DOD, and they want everyone in DOD to be holding to the president, not to the Constitution. They want everyone there to do what they're told, regardless of the law. What was also startling over the weekend was firing all the advocate generals of the military. If you're going to break the law, the first thing you do is you get rid of the lawyers. So we're looking at a very dangerous undermining of the values of our military, and the repercussions are being felt already. People questioning whether they should stay, talented leaders wondering if they should get out. It's the beginning of a very, very serious degradation of the military and politicization of the military.
Now, he's got a Delaware accent there. That's Jack Reed, who is on the Armed Forces Committee in the Senate, that he's politicizing the military. He's politicizing the I'm sorry, but did Joe Biden not politicize the military? If anything, we're reining this back in. By all accounts, Dan Kane is a highly competent and well-respected former member of the military who will be coming back in. And given his background, I'm told we should expect that the procurement and supply chain logistics issues that the Biden administration and the Joint Chiefs were not able to fix will get fixed with him. And that is the thing you have to understand about this pick. Yes, it has a lot to do with clearing out people who were beholden to Biden and did not push back on DEI programs. It absolutely does. Mark Milley, among others, never push back on DEI. You had people who didn't want to join the military because they knew they were going to be lectured on their privilege. But also, it's a massively big deal that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Joint Chiefs of Staff under Joe Biden couldn't grapple with the supply chain logistics and upending issues related to our slow pace of military buildup. Y'all, right now in this country, if there's one thing you take away from me today, it is this. For the first time in American history, we're spending more on our interest payments for our debt than we are our military. This has never happened before. And that is constraining us militarily in what we can do. Our GDP spending on defense has typically been around 6 to 7%. It's now about 2% and falling because of our fiscal insolvency as a nation. This is a dangerous situation to be in because it gives us very little wiggle room, while it gives China a massive amount of wiggle room. We've got to solve the procurement and logistics problems. We've got to solve the supply chain problems. We've got to solve the problems of getting a more efficient military. This is a serious national security issue. Our debt, forget the environment, forget climate change. Our debt is the biggest national security issue we have as a nation right now. We need someone, it's chairman of the Joint Chiefs, who can grapple with those issues, and Dan Raisin Kane is the perfect man for that job. It has nothing to do with race. It absolutely has to do with getting rid of people Biden put in power, but it has everything as well to deal with supply chain logistics that the military is struggling to grapple with and the Joint Chiefs have not been able to deal with. This guy has a background in it, so he's the right guy for the job. Give him a chance. And you guys should give Old Glory Bank a chance for your banking, because you got problems with your current bank. Old Glory Bank is a bank by conservatives, for conservatives, and they would love to have your business. I have been a longtime customer of theirs now. They've been in existence for 2 years, and I've been a bank customer of theirs for 2 years. I have a checking account and I have a savings account with them. You can do mortgages with them. You can do business loans with them. You can do car loans, HELOCs, you name it. They're a full-service bank. They happen to be an online bank. They make it really easy. You almost forget that they're an online bank. You can even deposit cash with them. They make it very easy. And your bank account is not going to get canceled. The chairman of the board, and the CEO, Mike Green, testified before Tim Scott's committee of the Senate just last week on debanking trends in this country and how Old Glory Bank is opposed to debanking trends. They would love to have you as a customer. I love them as a bank. You can go to oldglorybank.com. oldglorybank.com. You can fill out the form online and get an account in less than 6 minutes. You get a debit card, you get a checking account, savings, whatever you need. They got great interest rates, CDs, you name it. oldglorybank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Heads up for a little bit of volume in Tucker, 285 southbound. You're seeing some brake lights leaving I-85 on that inner loop, traveling down toward La Vista Road. Once you get down to I-20, it's slow on that 20 East collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel, with construction on the left lane of that collector distributor ramp. And then if you're traveling on the west side outer loop, 285 southbound, starting to see that volume pick up below South Cobb Drive, trying to get down to I-20, the West Freeway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour.
Jam-packed bumper to bumper.
Evening rush hour.
All lanes are shut down.
And everything in between.
Crash still on the right lane, 85 northbound Hamilton.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
Slow beginning at Piedmont Avenue, 75 South Slow.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic. Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Our weather is so unpredictable, and your roof takes all the abuse. If it needs repair or replacement, think of Findlay First, the roof guys, the perfect match for any roofing issues. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
Roof. I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time and make the most money. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
House Republicans are working every day to secure the southern border, end government waste, and bring down the rising cost of living that is hurting every one of us. Y'all, I'm Congressman Mike Collins, and I won't let off the gas until we fix our country and put American interest first. You can follow along at collins.house.gov, because we have a lot of work to get done, and I want you involved.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings, conversationalists. The phone number 877-973-7425. This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. If you are growing your business, First Liberty would love to help you. You see opportunities this year. You need access to $250,000 or more. Your lender giving you a hard time or doesn't share your vision, reach out to First Liberty. FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. See if they might be able to help you. I got to read for you part of this from CNN. February is one of the busiest times of year at Yosemite National Park thanks to firefall, a natural phenomenon that causes a glowing ribbon of water to look like molten lava cascading down El Capitan's Horse Trail Fall. Visitors come from around the world to witness the event. At the granite monolith, famed for its nearly vertical walls, some booking entry tickets and reserving parking spots a year in advance. But this year's visitors witnessed more than firefall on February 22nd. They saw an upside-down American flag, which Yosemite employees reportedly hung over the side of El Capitan to protest the recent downsizing that took place as part of the Trump administration's cost-cutting initiatives. Traditionally, hanging the American flag upside down symbolizes a distress call. Gavin Carpenter, a maintenance mechanic with Yosemite, spoke to the San Francisco Chronicle on Saturday and said he supplied the flag and helped hang it. We're bringing attention to what's happening in the parks. I am old enough to remember when CNN, the New York Times, ProPublica, and major media outlets believed it was a threat to the integrity of the United States Supreme Court when Justice Sam Alito's wife hung an upside-down American flag from a flagpole that, by all accounts, she did without the involvement of her husband, and still it was used by the media to attack the integrity of the United States Supreme Court for potential political biases. And now, when park employees hang an American flag upside down on El Capitan, spoiling people's pictures, the media lionizes the employees. It's such a national scandal what Trump is doing. It's necessary to hang it. It's necessary to fight back by any means possible, including the symbolism of an upside-down American flag. Screw Sam Alito, but praise the employees. What a double standard, if ever there was one. Sam Alito was not involved with his wife hanging that flag upside down. He had no role to play, and yet it was used to attack not just him, but to attack the institution of the United States Supreme Court for what his wife had done. But park employees do it, and they get fawning profiles because the press is biased toward the left. Can you imagine what the story would be if conservative employees had done this after Joe Biden got elected? Of course, you know exactly. It'd be just like, how can we trust the park employees? How can we trust what they say? How can we trust them to tell us the truth of climate change? How can we trust the park employees to be honest with us and not be racist? How can we trust them not to shove us off of El Capitan? But it's progressive employees, which tells you that DOJ is onto something. The progressives are upset and protesting, and the media is making them the heroes. It's like what's happening at the town halls, which we must discuss when I come back.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is coming up on 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. We now know the identification of the child killed in a multi-vehicle crash this morning on I-20. It shut the road down for several hours. She's identified as 11-year-old Nava Govan.
6 cars were tangled on I-20 near Turner Hill Road. DeKalb Fire and Rescue Captain Jason Daniels says there were multiple injuries.
We had a total of 7 patients that required medical attention, 2 of those being juveniles, which were ejected from the vehicle and tragically resulting in 1 fatality.
The children were taken to Arthur Blank and the adults to Grady Hospital. At the time, those taken to hospitals were all in critical condition. No word yet on the cause of the crash. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
All right, your weather for today, it's going to be actually nice. Mostly sunny and 65 this afternoon. Even warmer as the week goes on, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. In Cobb County, police say that they're searching for a suspect in connection with Sunday night's double shooting at the Main Event Entertainment Center on Cobb Parkway.
The officers discovered 2 victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Both of the adult male victims were transported by ambulance to a local hospital for treatment.
That's Cobb Police PIO Sergeant Eric Smith. He tells us that there are no other injuries involved. Police are unsure of a motive right now, and they're asking anybody with information to call the Cobb County Major Crimes Unit. A Delta flight out of Atlanta had to turn around this morning after smoke was reported in the cabin. The plane was headed to South Carolina. The FAA is now investigating. The 94 passengers on board did make it to Columbia, South Carolina, but a couple of hours later, no injuries were reported. Again, the FAA now investigating.
The first
That's Grammy award-winning artist, R&B singer Roberta Flack. She has died at the age of 88. She announced back in 2022 that she was diagnosed with ALS and could no longer sing. She died this morning at her home in New York. She was surrounded by her family. And some 1,000 National Park Service employees have been fired by the Trump administration. The fate of thousands more seasonal Park Service workers is unclear. This man lost his job as a custodian at Yosemite National Park.
No one's going to be there to pick up the trash. I mean, you'd be amazed with how many just diapers I pick up off the side of the road, beer bottles, toilet paper, all the stuff so you don't have to see. You get to see the park and its true natural beauty.
And these cuts, just as visitors are planning their spring break and summer travel to national parks with more than 325 million annual visitors, the parks have been struggling to meet the demand. It's 102.
February is Heart Health Month, and there's no better time to take care of your heart. This is Scott Slade. It's the perfect month to call Virtual Imaging and get your free heart scan to help you stay ahead of heart disease before you even know there's a problem. You've been hearing us talk about how Virtual Imaging's free heart scan can save lives. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States, and any problem with your heart that you can detect early means you have a better chance of living a longer life. Call Virtual Imaging today and get your free heart scan. What are you waiting for? Call 770-678-SCAN. It's quick, painless, and you'll get a clear picture of your heart's health so you know where you stand. And it's a great way to mark Heart Health Month. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Virtual Imaging now and schedule your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements. It's quick, easy, and could save your life. I've done it. Call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Because your heart deserves it. If not for yourself, do it for your family.
When it rains, it pours. It's not a matter of if it's going to storm, it's when. Hi, this is Candace with Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. There are only a few things you can be certain of living in Georgia. The weather is absolutely uncertain, storms are coming, and with that, the storm chasers blew in. You know, the ones that show up, canvass your neighborhood for a free inspection, make deals that are too good to be true, tell you all the neighbors are doing it, and then once they're done, they're gone like the wind. Everyone says they offer a lifetime warranty, but it only lasts as long as the company's in town. At Exovations, we will install your roof on time, on budget, and without all that stress that you usually hear about in construction, which means we stand behind our warranties. We provide you with written documentation, and we will be here to weather the next storm. So let it rain. We've got you covered. Visit exovations.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your heat? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Find us at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Seeing a little bit of volume out of Norcross into Duluth, 85 northbound. You're on and off the brakes, leaving Jimmy Carter as you head up toward Pleasant Hill Road. Luckily, no crashes in the way right now. Also, still seeing the brake lights with that work zone between Kennesaw and Woodstock. 575 northbound, passing Bells Ferry Road. That's in the right lane. And the collector distributor ramp construction continues in the cab. Left lane of that ramp block, 20 east between 285 and Wesley Chapel Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny today, high 65. Lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 68. Wednesday, the warmest day this week. Sunny skies, morning low 43, afternoon high 72.
And WSB Storm Tracker radar is clear. It's sunny and 58 degrees in Roswell. Marietta, you have 60 degrees, and it's 62 with sunny skies in Riverdale. We will have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the fruited plain. Delighted to have you with me this Monday. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, if you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, the social media links to follow me around. where I made delightful food this weekend. You can see the pictures. Find the recipes. It's all there. Now, we have to switch gears. We have to discuss something I got wrong. It pains me to do it, but occasionally I have to do it. I don't like to be wrong. Occasionally I am wrong. And I hold myself accountable. I know if you're new to the program, you may have a hard time believing a conservative radio show host might admit he was wrong about something, but I do. I think that integrity matters, and I think that occasionally I got to revise and revisit things that I got wrong. And I've talked about this one before after the election. My wrongness was an informed opinion based on talking to people close to the Trump campaign and to Republican strategists, and also seeing the polling at the time. I'm talking about the Tony Hinchcliffe situation. If you will recall, at the beginning of the last week of the campaign, Donald Trump started the week with a rally at Madison Square Garden, and the media went overboard doing comparisons to a pro-Nazi rally in the 1930s. And Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian, starts it, is the warm-up act, and talks about Puerto Rico being a garbage island, and it did not go over well with the crowd. And that week, I warned people. I said this could have some fallout. If the race is very tight, it could have some fallout. I've been talking to people in the Trump campaign. I've been talking to Republican pollsters and strategists, and all of them are worried there are some swing areas in the country, particularly in the outskirts of Philadelphia and in parts of New York and the like, and they're concerned. And then a very popular Puerto Rican celebrity came out and condemned Donald Trump and wound up endorsing Kamala Harris. And the Trump campaign itself was a little bit concerned about how the Tony Hinchcliffe stuff would play out. At the same time, the National Press Corps went gangbusters. And if you will recall, Joe Biden came out a couple days later, referred to Donald Trump supporters as garbage. And the Trump campaign did feel like that kind of killed off the Hinchcliffe story, even though the media went into damage control. But there were real concerns, and I voiced those concerns. And I said on social media I was concerned about the ramifications of Hinchcliffe, and we were all wrong. The Trump campaign folks who were concerned about it were wrong. I was wrong. The media narrative was wrong. The Democrats were wrong. It turned out that though Donald Trump lost Puerto Rico, not that it matters for the Electoral College, Donald Trump actually won those Puerto Rican districts in this country where everybody was concerned about. Donald Trump won them. Donald Trump won the Puerto Rican vote. The sound and the fury, the polling, all of it turned out not to be right. Another example of this, and this is one I was right on, was Springfield, Ohio. The media amplified and overplayed Donald Trump and J.D. Vance's statements on Springfield, Ohio, and the Haitians eating the dogs, the Haitians eating the pets. It became a punchline. It became a joke. And I said at the time, because I just happened to be the most listened to talk radio show in Springfield, Ohio, and had a lot of callers calling the show, letting me know that actually they're not eating the pets, but there are real concerns about social services. There are real concerns about crime. There are real concerns about what's going on in Springfield, Ohio, and the social toll of all the Haitians coming in. And I said at the time that the media doesn't understand. They're playing up the dumb comment that exposed what was going on, and they're actually trying to ignore the reality of the situation. They're trying to say Donald Trump's lying about Springfield, Ohio, as a way to avoid ever having to talk about the real problems in Springfield, Ohio. And I said, this is going to come back and bite him. And what happened? Donald Trump won the city limits of Springfield, Ohio. Now, Donald Trump has won that county, but he's never won the city limits. He didn't win it in 2016. He didn't win it in 2020. Even though there's a Republican mayor, Trump never won Springfield, Ohio until 2024. Donald Trump won the city of Springfield, Ohio, because the voters were furious. So I got the Hinchcliffe one wrong. I got the Springfield one right. But the common thread is that the media not only got both of them wrong, the media overplayed, overanalyzed, and oversampled Democratic complaints and left-wing critiques of the situation. I raise all of that to talk about Rich McCormick. Rich McCormick is the congressman for the 7th Congressional District of Georgia. It is a district that sprawls from the northern Atlanta suburbs of Roswell right around 285, the perimeter we call it here in Georgia, all the way up to the North Georgia mountains. It's a beautiful district of wonderful people, very conservative. It's an R+11 district. McCormick overperformed. Donald Trump won it by 60%. No Democrat has ever won that territory going back to Obama. Rich McCormick actually got better results than Donald Trump. Trump won it by 60%. McCormick won it by 63%. But McCormick had a town hall meeting there last week. And in that town hall meeting, a group of angry voters showed up to condemn Doge and Donald Trump and to tell McCormick that he needed to toe the line and fight Donald Trump. CNN did a story on it. The New York Times did a story on it. MSNBC did a story on it. ABC's Nightly News did a story on it. CBS Face the Nation did a story on it. Politico did a story on it. USA Today did a story on it. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution obviously did a story on it. It was the top story on the Drudge Report for over 48 hours with a picture of Rich McCormick being yelled at by voters. The national media seized on the Rich McCormick town hall as the blowback has come and the voters have awakened, and they are very angry with Doge, and they are very angry with Donald Trump, and they're very angry with Elon Musk. Do you know what the media has left out of this? And by the way, I'm not just saying this because I talk to people who work for Congressman McCormick. I'm saying this because I talked to people who were in the room, who participated. A lot of the people who were in Rich McCormick's town hall in Roswell, Georgia, came from the adjoining Democratic district where the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is headquartered. That never entered the conversation. These were not Trump supporters. In fact, the people who caused the ruckus at Rich McCormick's event voted against Donald Trump in 2024. There's a number of Democrats who came in and they were organized online in chat rooms and Slack channels and by text message. They were organized to show up and surprise, surprise, surprise. The American Press Corps was waiting for them to ambush Rich McCormick. It is not a coincidence. It was a coordinated effort by Democratic activists and Democratic members of the media to embarrass Rich McCormick and do a multi-day story that the blowback is here. Finally, the American public is standing up. Mark Penn was on Fox News. He was the Clintons pollster. Mark Penn, leading, highly respected Democratic pollster.
Well, I've got some new polling coming out Monday that I've just looked at, and frankly, the Democratic Party is falling off a cliff. The ratings, which were in the high 40s, are going to be like 35%. And I think the basic question, who's doing better job as president, Biden or Trump? Trump is winning that with 57%. I think you're seeing a retrospective assessment of Biden and the direction the Democratic Party was going. It really a lot more negative than it was on Election Day. And they're looking at the contrast on immigration, on economic policy, on some of the social policies. And boy, they're reevaluating. In the Democratic Party, I have never seen anything like this. This is a record low for the Democratic Party in terms of favorability. It has fallen really, really way down. And I don't think there's any leadership right now that's going to be able to bring that back.
That's Mark Penn, the Clintons pollster, a prominent Democratic pollster. You know, on PBS, on NewsHour, they claimed that the blowback was coming from conservatives at Rich McCormick's event. It's not true. My buddy Matt just texted me. He said, saw it on PBS. They're claiming that it was conservative blowback against Rich McCormick. That's simply not true. I can tell you, not just from talking to McCormick staff, but talking to people who were in the room, that these were Democrats from an adjacent district who came in and participated in McCormick's event. And by the way, he held the town hall in the most Democratic portion of his district. So to the extent there were Democrats in his district there, that's not surprising given the location of where he had the town hall. But they're playing this into a national story, trying to scare Republicans. In fact, the talking point from the members of the media is that, oh, Republicans need to slow this down. Republicans need to walk it back. They're trying their best to scare everybody. This is Congressman Buddy Carter from South Georgia. He was on Newsmax talking about these town halls and pushback.
Yeah, Congressman, we know you had some protesters outside your office in Georgia last week over your support of Elon Musk and Doge. And so far, $52 billion have been saved. Taxpayer dollars have been saved by Doge. I mean, why are Democrats having such a hard time defending the indefensible, which is wasteful spending and just out-of-control government?
Baffles me. It really does. I mean, this is taxpayers' money. It's Democrats, it's Republicans' money. It's all of our money. And you know, I applaud Elon Musk and what they're doing. They're using 21st century technology to check on a bloated bureaucracy, which is what we need to be doing. And when you identify waste, fraud, and abuse, that helps everyone, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're rich, whether you're middle income, it doesn't matter. It helps all of us to have a more efficient government. That's why I applaud what Elon Musk is doing, and I applaud what the Trump administration is doing.
Let's just talk about this in real world terms. How many people, and I'm not talking to you guys, listen to a conservative show, but how many of your friends who aren't involved in politics hate Washington, D.C.? The government. How many hate the bureaucrats? I guarantee you it's a significant number of them. I guarantee you it's a significant number of them. And Doge is making these cuts in Washington, D.C. I have a sneaking suspicion that this is a very coordinated effort by Democrats and the media to try to scare Republican members of Congress. I wrote about this morning. If you text DATA to 33777, you can subscribe not just to the show notes, but get my morning piece. Let me just reiterate the point that I made. The sound and fury of the loser left, amplified by the press corps that sympathizes with them, is a strategy of the left to induce Republican nervous Nellies to surrender. The data itself does not bear out that surrender or retreat is necessary. You know what? It turns out that the Doge cuts is the number one galvanizing issue for people who voted against Donald Trump in 2024. Therein lies the answer. The people who are worked up and passionate about it, 24% of them, they're upset. But they were in the minority in the election. They're in the minority now. They just happen to be the loudest voices. And yet again, the National Press Corps has rigged the deck so they can amplify the loudest voices who happen to be a minority to scare Republican nervous Nellies in Congress to try to walk it all back. Republicans need to hold their ground, a manufactured outrage machine, just like they did after the Tony Hinchcliffe situation at Madison Square Garden. They screamed about the Nazis and Tony Hinchcliffe. It was all wrong. Donald Trump won the Puerto Rican vote. He's winning people right now. He's got a solid approval rating for the first time ever. Donald Trump is outperforming any polling he ever had in his first go-round as president of the United States. People are totally fine with punching a bureaucracy that they don't like and feel is out of touch. It's the media and the left that's upset about it. Don't give in. Don't surrender. Keep cutting.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121, Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center, making progress here in DeKalb County. They're picking up the construction from the left lane at the 20 East collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. At times holding that ramp as they pick up those barrels. Then they're going to have to pick up the barrels from the right lane of I-20 itself. So just expect some volume leaving that east side perimeter. We also see the volume through downtown, just midday volume starting at the 85-400 merge, on and off the brakes as you make your way down to I-20. Traffic brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring today. Robert Half is here to help. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Erick Erickson, Mark Aram, and Shelley Winter, no matter where you go. 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
Ready to upgrade your drive? Butler Lexus of South Atlanta has incredible offers on new and pre-owned Lexus vehicles. With complimentary rentals and service perks, your experience will be second to none. Don't miss out. Schedule a test drive by calling 1-800-NEW-LEXUS.
So, you don't park in your garage anymore because your garage door is broken? That's it? Oh well, too bad. Been meaning to fix it. How much other stuff in your house doesn't work? TV only gets even-numbered channels when it rains. Coffee maker only makes a cup and a half before it quits. If your dishwasher didn't wash, or your printer didn't print, or your vacuum cleaner didn't suck, you'd fix it. Why aren't you parking your car in this clean, dry, awesome garage just because your garage door is broken? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. We have the parts, tools, and the experience to fix what's broken. An expert repair and a fresh overhaul, and you'll get years of service out of your current system without spending a fortune to replace the whole thing. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage, and we'll come over and make it right. Because if it is broke, you do fix it.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Did you know there's money hidden in your yard? Really? Truly. Water furnace heat pumps actually pull the energy stored in the ground and turn it into free, renewable energy to keep your home comfortable in every climate. A water furnace geothermal system can save you up to 70% on your heating, cooling, and hot water costs. 70% off your utility bills. It's the only type of system that will pay you back. Most homeowners with water furnace geothermal save more on monthly bills than they actually pay for the system when installation costs are financed. See how much you could save by visiting our savings calculator at waterfurnace.com. Now, are you ready for the bonus? A 30% federal tax credit for residential ground source heat pump installations has been extended through 2032. More money back to you. Save up to 70% on your heating, cooling, and hot water costs with Water Furnace. Take 5 minutes to check it out at waterfurnace.com/ATL and then start saving.
If it's the big story, it's on 2. Channel 2 Action News this morning. I'm Fred Blankenship.
And I'm Lori Wilson. Big stories are always breaking. It may start in the morning, but the impact continues all day.
We're constantly working to bring you fresh information from different perspectives.
This is Developing Live. Our reporters are working to get you all the angles right now.
When it comes to the big story, this is always the place to get ready for your day.
Join us on Channel 2 Action News this morning every day, 4:30 to 7.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. Save time, you'll make the most money. Sean Hannity here. No showings, no open houses, and no stress. Get your guaranteed offer on your home today at markspain.com and start packing.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings, welcome. The phone number, 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, this just in. It appears in the Department of Housing and Urban Development, some bureaucrat hacked the TV monitors in the cafeteria and showed an AI-generated video of Donald Trump kissing Elon Musk's feet with the text over it, "Long live the real king." These bureaucrats are proving Donald Trump's point that they are aggressive, partisan progressives who need to be purged from government. They will be found. They will be fired. But they're kind of proving the point. They put an upside-down flag up at Yosemite's El Capitan. They hack into the video system of the Department of Housing and Urban Development to protest. These are progressive partisans within the government bureaucracy, and they need to be purged. They need to be found, and they need to be driven from their jobs. They're there to stand up to and drag their feet on doing the will of the lawfully elected president of the United States. They are the threat to democracy. Federal bureaucrats who think that their jobs are invaluable and they are indispensable, who believe they do not have to honor the will of the American public electing a president to go in a new direction, they are a threat to democracy. The fact that they're willing to do these sorts of protest things exposes them as the partisan progressives they actually are, and they should be rooted out, and they should be fired. The fact that they have enough time on their hands to get into the video system to come up with this video and broadcast it is just another example that we got too many people who think they're indispensable and turn out to be very, very dispensable. Let the purges continue in Washington, D.C. And by the way, a lot of the public totally fine with firing the bureaucrats. This is just going to reinforce that they should be fired. One of the groups leading the way on fighting for tax cuts and fighting for common sense conservative reform is Americans for Prosperity. They have a website they've set up. It's called protectprosperity.com. And if you go to protectprosperity.com, you can take action. You can sign up to stay informed on what's going on in Congress, the state of play for the tax cuts, how the Budget Reconciliation Act is being handled. You'll be able to engage and call your members of Congress, tell your members of Congress to support the tax cuts. You'll be the most informed member of your circle of friends. There are so many moving parts to this. Americans for Prosperity is committed to keeping you informed and keeping you as part of the conversation for common sense conservative tax solutions in this country. All you got to do is engage by going to protectprosperity.com. Protectprosperity.com. Go sign up, be a part of AFP's efforts to extend the tax cuts and fight for common sense conservative reforms across the country. They'd love to have you a part. They'll make you a more effective and efficient conservative activist wherever you are. Protectprosperity.com is the website. Protectprosperity.com. Brought to you by my good friends, Americans for Prosperity. I'm on their advisory board. We'd love to have you involved at protectprosperity.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. We have now learned the name of the child who was killed in that multi-vehicle crash this morning on I-20. The DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office identifying her as 11-year-old Nave Govan. Now, DeKalb Fire and Rescue Captain Jason Daniels tells WSB 6 other people were injured and taken to area hospitals. 3 were badly hurt.
They were critical as we transported them to the hospital this morning.
The cause of that crash is under investigation. Your weather for today, mostly sunny and warmer, highs around 65, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Delta Airlines saying a flight from Atlanta to South Carolina was forced to turn around this morning because of what they're calling haze now. Video on social media shows the haze filling the cabin of the plane. Delta says the flight crew followed a procedure and declared an emergency. That plane was carrying 94 passengers. The incident following a similar one that happened Saturday when a Delta flight from Los Angeles to Sydney had to return to the airport after smoke was detected in the galley of that plane. House Speaker Mike Johnson today making remarks and answering questions at the Americans for Prosperity Forum in Washington, D.C. Here's Johnson on the U.S. economy.
If you reduce taxes and regulations, you allow job creators, entrepreneurs, risk takers, the people that create the jobs to do more of what they do. And you unleash that power of the U.S. economy that has been smothered by government regulation for too long.
And Apple announcing a big investment in the United States. The tech giant revealing today that over the next 4 years, it plans to spend over $500 billion. The effort includes building a new factory in Houston, Texas, which is aimed to produce servers for the company's artificial intelligence software. The money will also go towards chip-making facilities in states like Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, and Utah. The company saying the investment will create some 20,000 jobs here in the U.S. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow is currently up 221 at 43,649. NASDAQ is currently down slightly. The S&P is in positive territory. It's 132.
So, a guy knocks on your door, shows you a shingle that fell off your roof, and then tells you that your roof needs replacing? Sound familiar? Did he also ask for the name of your insurance company? Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and I want to tell you what you should do the next time someone like this knocks on your door. Smile nicely, say no thank you, close the door, and call Exovations. Why? Because too many times roofers like this end up getting your home insurance policy canceled. At Exovations, we'll first determine if you actually need a new roof. Then we'll discuss all of the roof system and shingle options. And we'll make sure that your roof is installed on time, on budget, and without all the stress caused by Mr. Knock on my front door roofing guy. Schedule a free consultation today at exovations.com. That's EXOVATIONS.com.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. It's hard to imagine, but one day in retirement, your income will stop. You may have been working for 30 or 40 years, but now you'll have to depend on the money you've saved for the next 30 years. How do you know if you've saved enough? What does it mean to spend confidently in retirement? One of the worst things that you can do is get to retirement and not know how much income your investments can produce. At Nicholas Wealth, we created a plan that will show you what your investments can potentially generate in dividends, interest, and growth in retirement. We call this our Spend Confidently plan. When's the best time to turn on Social Security? What are some of the best dividend-paying stocks available? Our CPAs and CFPs will show you what your income number is and how a diversified portfolio of income-producing investments could potentially provide you consistent monthly income. Our Retire Ready Income Report is a $1,000 value. We'll provide it completely complimentary if you've saved more than $250,000 for retirement and you give us a call in the next 10 minutes. Number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
All right, quickly, Alex Williams, what you got?
Still watching the construction in DeKalb, although improving. It's gone from the collector distributor ramp 20 east before Wesley Chapel, but they're still in the right lane of I-20 and right lane construction 575 north of Bells Ferry. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly sunny today, highs in the mid-60s.
All right, we'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello, friends. How are you? Welcome. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you join me. I was going to talk about this in the last break, but the Elon Musk, Donald Trump foot kissing video kind of interrupted it. Before I get into the German elections, because we do need to talk about the German elections, even as an American, you need to understand what happened in Germany. This is a wild story. We'll get to the German elections, but first, this is from the Los Angeles Times. Inside the Mojave Desert train heists targeting Nike sneakers. We are back to great train robberies in the American Southwest. So the Los Angeles Times has the story that thieves are boarding freight trains that are loading up on the slave labor goods of China at the Los Angeles port. They're hiding out until they reach the Mojave Desert. And then they're cutting air brake hoses, causing the trains to come to an emergency stop. And then they pilfer the trains. And people pull up in four-wheel drive vehicles and load up all the merchandise. This is, I just got to read you something. This is wild stuff. The thieves stealthily board eastbound freight trains, hiding out until they reach lonely stretches of the Mojave Desert or high plains, far from towns. They slash an air brake hose, causing the mile-long line of rail cars to screech to an emergency stop. Then they go shopping. That's the modus operandi described by investigators in a string of at least 10 heists targeting BNSF trains in California and Arizona since last March. All but one resulted in the theft of Nike sneakers, their combined value approaching $2 million. New sneaker releases have touched off at least some of the recent incidents in Perrin, Arizona. Thieves allegedly cut an air brake hose on a BNSF freight train on January 13th and unloaded 1,985 pairs of unreleased Nikes worth more than $440,000, according to a criminal complaint. Many were Nigel Sylvester X Air Jordan 4S's, which won't be available to the public until March 14th and are expected to retail at $225 a pair. Side note, really, people? You're spending that much on shoes, on Air Jordans? I was never a shoe person. I don't understand it, but nonetheless. Theft crews typically scout high-value merchandise on rail lines that parallel Interstate 40 by boarding slow-moving trains, like when they're changing tracks and opening containers. The thieves sometimes are tipped off to valuable shipments by Confederates working at warehouses or trucking companies. Oftentimes, they simply look for containers with high security locks, and they cut them with reciprocating saws or bolt cutters. Once the desired loot is found, the thieves alert follow vehicles which track the train. The stolen goods are tossed off the train after it comes to a halt, either for a scheduled stop or because an air hose has been cut or control wires inside signal boxes have been sabotaged. The cargo is then loaded into box trucks or hidden in nearby brush until they arrive, provided the surveillance crews that are following the train don't detect law enforcement. There were at least 65,000 railroad cargo thefts last year, a 40% increase. 65,000! Good Lord! They were characterized or classified as burglaries because they don't involve confronting victims, as with robberies. They're believed to have cost $100 million to the railroad companies. The railroad companies aren't advertising it because they don't want to incentivize it. This is just insane stuff. And by the way, do you know who's doing it? Curious line here. They don't come out and say it, but you can get exactly who they're talking about. These tactics are often employed by transnational criminal groups that consist primarily of Mexican citizens from Sinaloa, the Sinaloa drug cartel. It's what they're doing. They're now on the terror list, thanks to Donald Trump. But the terrorists are robbing trains in the American Southwest. Robbing trains in the American Southwest. That's absolutely insane to me. Millions of dollars, $100 million. 65,000 railroad cargo robberies last year. That's just a 40% increase. This is crazy. This is another issue that the federal government is going to have to get involved with. I mean, it is interstate crime. The feds need to be putting agents, armed agents in these and just kill the terrorists when they board the trains. Why not? I mean, they're designated as terrorists now. We know it's the drug cartels that are doing it, so when they get on the trains, take them out. I mean, somebody put this in front of Donald Trump. He'll take care of it. It's amazing, though. Genuinely, what's amazing to me is that this was happening last year. 65,000 railroad cargo thefts last year when Joe Biden was president, and the Biden administration did nothing about it. Donald Trump will take care of this. Just get it on his radar, people. That's just wild to me. All right, now we got to get into what happened in Germany, because it's a really, really significant shakeup in Europe. One of the spins coming out of the German elections, and in fact, I saw it in the Wall Street Journal. The headline was, yes, this is from the Wall Street Journal headline: German vote boosts Europe's centrists. Friedrich Merz could have one shot at fending off a Senate populace and said Europe needs to gradually achieve independence from the United States. First of all, yes, they never should have been dependent on the United States. But secondly, yes. But third, this is not a boost for Europe's centrists. The AfD came in second place, and they're the group that the elite claim are the second coming of the Nazis. Now, I got to say something here that I know is going to get me hate mail from certain people. I don't care that I get hate mail from them over this. I will concede the fact that the AfD, as it originated, was a pretty radical right-wing political group. What the elite and the media don't want you to know, however, is that while AfD is very much a conservative right-wing group in Germany when it comes to immigration, not social service, things like that, it's not like a massively pro-Christian, pro-right group. It's kind of a secular anti-immigration group. It has moderated its positions. This is the problem with conversations about Donald Trump and about AfD. Remember, they tried to do it with Giorgia Meloni in Italy and with Javier Milei in Argentina. Is the elites and their voices in the press make them radioactive. Consider Giorgia Meloni in Italy as a great example of this. When Meloni was elected in Italy, you would have thought Mussolini himself had come back to power. It was a massive, massive earthquake in the national press corps in this country, the global press corps led by the Europeans, and in the political establishment within the European Union, that Giorgia Meloni was some sort of right-wing radical, lover of Nazis and fascists, and she was going to impose fascism in Italy. And it was nonsense. It was absolute nonsense. Her big issue was immigration. And they didn't like it because of that. Same with Javier Milei in South America and Argentina. Before Milei got elected, the international press labeled him as some sort of libertarian anarchist radical who loved the fascists. It's the same conversation they have with Donald Trump, and they don't even hear themselves doing this. The AfD is a far-right group in terms of German political parties, but you know what? It's moderated itself, but the big issue in the common strain, the attacks on Meloni, the attacks on Trump, the attacks on AfD, a lot of it have to do with immigration. See, here's the dirty little secret. The elite in Europe recognize that birth rates in Europe have slowed down so much that in order to maintain Europe, they're going to have to rely on an imported class of immigrants, and they don't want to say this to their local populations. But in Germany, for example, I saw this weekend. I found it staggering in the Financial Times. Something like 70% of welfare payments in Germany go to immigrants who are not German citizens, something like 70%. Germany has built a welfare class of immigrants in the country that they prop up, and the locals are resentful. Now, Eastern Germany is also, there's this wild dynamic in Germany where after reintegration in the early 1990s, the Germans poured a lot of money into East Germany to prop up East Germany at the expense of West Germany. And the Western Germans went into recession, and they resented like hell that the communists, former communists, were being propped up. And over time, there's been some moderation in the spending, but the West Germans and the East Germans, despite becoming one people again, have had this long kind of animosity because the East Germans were communists, very, very secular. The West Germans, much more culturally conservative, a lot of them Catholic and Christian. I shouldn't say Catholic and Christian. Catholic Christians, Lutherans, Protestants in the northern part, Catholic in the southern part in Munich, for example, but Christian. And they were somewhat socially incompatible with the East Germans, but they reintegrated society. They poured a lot of money into rebuilding East Germany. East Germany got very, very modern, but they always maintained the secularism that has transcended the political parties. But over time, as Germany has brought in a lot of immigrants, a lot of those immigrants settled in the East German areas, and they tapped into social welfare programs. And the German elite decided it was for the good of Germany. And they didn't care that the German people didn't like it. The German people were just bigots and racists. And anytime anyone spoke up, they claimed they were Nazis. And the public in Germany is no longer having a part of it. The public in Germany is turning on the elite. And the public in Germany has embraced the AfD. And so what is the response by the elite? It's to scream Nazi even louder. But they did this with Giorgia Meloni. They did this with Javier Milei. They've done this with Donald Trump. And time again, they've been wrong. Maybe they're right about AfD, but you can hardly believe them because they've done it about any group that defies the elite. The elite are very good at name-calling, calling people racist, and trying to scare people into voting against some other group. The elite like to otherize other groups. They've tried to otherize Donald Trump. They've tried to otherize AfD, tried to otherize Giorgia Meloni. They've tried to otherize any rising conservative populist group. They're scared of them, and they have no response. Their response is to shame them. And it's not working now. It's not working. Friedrich Merz is going to be the German chancellor. He is from the right-leaning, Christian Democrats. He's Angela Merkel's party, the resurrection of Angela Merkel's party, Christian Democratic Union. And he will have to build a coalition because he didn't get majority support. And there's a lot of thinking, a lot of urging, a lot of pushing for Merz to side with the socialists who just got thoroughly rejected. I think the German chancellor should probably consider seeing if he can bring in AfD. Maybe calm them. Maybe make them more mainstream. Purge out the worst impulses, but also deal with immigration. Immigration is the weak link for the German and the European elite. They do not realize it. They do not appreciate it. They despise anyone who wants them to slow down immigration or turn people around and send them back home. They do not want to do it because at the end of the day, they view everyone in Europe as a worker, not as a citizen. And they want a steady pool of workers. So they value immigration at the expense of their own people. Well, guess what? Their own people have votes that the immigrants don't have, and their own people are turning on the elite for devaluing them and what it means to actually be a citizen of the country. Payback is coming. You can scream all you want, Nazi, Nazi, Nazi. But if you don't address the concerns of the people, they're going to go with those you hate because they hate you. It's happened in this country with Donald Trump's election and the elite in this country being rejected. The Europeans still can't figure this out. They just keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. And honestly, they're going to keep repeating the mistakes. Now, I got to tell you about Eden Pure. Right now, this week only, their BOGO is in effect. You buy one Eden Pure Thunderstorm, you get one for free. You buy 5, you get 5 for free. What you do is you go to EdenPureDeals.com and you put in Eric BOGO, ERICKBOGO. You will get 1 for 1. Buy one, get one free. They are an air purifier. They not only get rid of dust and pollen and pet dander, they use electrostatic plates so you never have to buy a filter. They also kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses, and they also wipe out any odor. And I use them, and they work. They're small. You can plug it into the wall. You can even plug it in your car if you have a USB outlet in the car. Where I've used them, I rented a car more than once. In Louisiana, they're notorious. You rent these cars, people have been smoking God knows what in them. They stink, smell like a skunk. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm wipes out that odor. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. You put in Eric BOGO, ERICKBOGO as your discount code, and you will get one, and you'll get one for free. Buy one, get one free. Buy 10, you get 10 for free. That's how it works. Eric BOGO is the code at EdenPureDeals.com.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
151 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. New crash in Doraville. It's on the 285 eastbound interloop ramp to I-85 northbound. Fire department on scene. The left lane of that ramp is blocked. It's already starting to cause delays back toward Peachtree Boulevard. Now, if you're traveling 575 northbound out of Kennesaw into Woodstock, you still have that construction in the right lane passing Bells Ferry, exit 4. Traffic brought to you by the YMCA of Metro Atlanta. Are you ready to find what moves you? At the Y, they have something for everyone. Join today and they'll waive your joining fee. Visit YMCAAtlanta.org to learn more. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Buying a new car? Need help fixing your current car? What's the safest car for a first-time buyer? The Car Guys have the answer. Join Shelley Winter and automotive expert Kevin Deutsch this and every Saturday at 12 for all your car needs. The Car Guys, presented by Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, Saturdays at noon on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where AquaGuard comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at aquaguard.net/row.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
As a trucker, I know how challenging these last 4 years have been. I'm Congressman Mike Collins, and I've been hitting the road listening to Georgians across my district. Please know that help is on the way and follow along at collins.house.gov.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
Hey, this is Congressman Mike Collins. I'm fighting every day for America First policies in Washington, and I want to hear from you about how we can make our country better. Reach out at collins.house.gov and let me know.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. Save time, you'll make the most money. Hey, Sean Hannity here. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the hassle of getting your home ready to sell, receive an all-cash offer, and close within days. No showings, no open houses, and no stress. Find out what the guaranteed offer would be on your home. No obligation. MarkSpain.com. Get your guaranteed offer on your home today. That's MarkSpain.com, and then you can start packing.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings. It's Eric Erickson here. If you're on the phone, stand by. This is a short segment. I went long last segment. 877-973-7425. I'll get to you on the other side of the break. Right now, I got to tell you something you probably have not heard. I just actually, during break, was looking through media outlets. I saw this on social media the other day. I read the decision, and I find it very notable you're not hearing about this from major media outlets. a federal judge who had temporarily paused the shakeup of USAID has let it go forward. And you know what he determined? That the wild claims about what was happening were, upon inspection of the evidence, overwrought and overdone. It wasn't as big a deal as claimed. So the federal judge is letting USAID shakeup go forward. Now, some of the pauses by judges are going to be continued. The Supreme Court is essentially going to allow Donald Trump to go forward with firing of the inspectors general after a delay. The rule says that the president can fire inspectors general after notifying Congress, 30 days after notifying Congress. And a judge enjoined Trump from firing the judges for 30 days. And the Supreme Court's like, kind of still following the law without a lot of change there. So many of the initial efforts by the left to stop Donald Trump are beginning to come undone by federal judges who, when they are evaluating the actual claims, find the efforts to be far more reasonable than what you're being told in the National Press Corps. I'm not surprised by that. The moral of the story is be careful what you hear in the news these days. You know, as an aside, I'm finding that when there's a big controversy with Donald Trump, you do have to wait 24 to 48 hours before you really comment on it. You as a radio show host, I can't not cover it because I cover breaking news here. And a lot of these things are breaking news, but I got to be measured in how I cover it because 24 to 48 hours later, you're going to realize how much of the media got the situation wrong and misrepresented the situation. This happens, I mean, it happened with Biden, but it really happens with Donald Trump. And part of it is an antagonistic media that is willing to believe the lies of the left so easily. But also part of it is reporters tend to be lazy. And they're parroting the talking points of the left because the left has greater ends with the media. So they rush out these stories, and then they know damage is done. They'll correct it. The correction won't get as much attention, and they'll leave a lasting bad impression of Donald Trump. It's all very willful and very intentional. Related to all of that, Joy Reid's show on MSNBC is being canceled, and Lester Holt, head of NBC Nightly News, is stepping back. The media landscape is changing dramatically. I want to talk about that when we come back and also get to Carlos, who wants to know how black conservatives can better talk to the black community. We'll explore all of that when we come back right here on the Erick Erickson Show. We'll be back.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this hour brought to you by Bread Beckers. WSB's top local story, some scary moments today for passengers aboard a Delta flight at Atlanta's big airport.
The FAA says Delta Airlines Flight 876 returned safely to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport this morning around 9 o'clock. This after the crew reported possible smoke in the flight deck. The Boeing 717-200 was headed to Columbia, South Carolina. There were 94 passengers on board. Nobody was injured. Those passengers did make it to their destination a couple of hours later. The FAA is now investigating. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
It is 63 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB Media meteorologist Christina Edwards says we've got sunny to mostly sunny skies starting off the first couple of days of this week, and highs today in the mid-60s. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. It's not your imagination. You probably did notice more cars on the roads this morning as thousands of federal employees respond to orders to get back to work in person.
The return mandate sends people back to the office, many of whom have worked remotely for years. At the CDC, the influx will be most evident to commuters around their main campus on Clifton Road.
Approximately 3,000 CDC staff currently report to the Royal campus. Moving forward, approximately 5,800 CDC staff will report to Royal, which is on Clifton Road.
The CDC's Jeff Williams says they're offering shuttles from Lindbergh MARTA station to Clifton, and shuttles also run from Chamblee MARTA to the Chamblee campus, which is also opening a new parking deck this week. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
This just in a 33-21 vote, the Georgia State Senate advances legislation known as the Red Tape Rollback Act, which opponents have dubbed Georgia Doge. The bill requires state agencies to look into the rules and regulations currently on the books and see if they need to be updated. Democrats say this will slow down the process. That measure is now heading to the House. A manhunt is underway for the shooter who opened fire Sunday night at the Main Event Entertainment Center on Cobb Parkway.
There is only one suspected shooter. The suspect had departed the scene prior to the arrival of officers.
2 men are at the hospital being treated for gunshot injuries. Egg prices keep on skyrocketing, and now add beef to the list of higher prices.
The wholesale cost for a dozen eggs is now at $8.07. Wholesale is before it hit stores, and stores can set their own prices. The average grocery store price is at about $5 a dozen.
Correspondent Alex Stone reports now the cattle industry is reporting beef prices are rising as well because of high supply costs and drought. As Starbucks' new CEO works to streamline operations, the company's getting ready to lay off about 1,100 corporate employees. These layoffs are not expected to impact roasting and warehouse staff or baristas in stores. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
A word of caution.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder
riders.
of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
A word of caution for motorcycle riders. Remember, 18-wheelers have bigger blind spots, and it takes them longer to stop than a smaller vehicle. Eric Von Hassler here to remind you that if an 18-wheeler forces you to lay your bike down, you need to call in Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a motorcycle rider, and he understands bikers' needs. Get more info and request a free Rider's Advantage card at steelhorselaw.com.
2:05 live team coverage of traffic and weather begins with Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Good afternoon, Veronica. Still watching a crash in Dorville on the 285 eastbound inner loop ramp to I-85 northbound. Left lane of that ramp is blocked, so you're starting to see delays back toward Peachtree Boulevard. Slow out of Sandy Springs into Cobb on 285 westbound from Riverside Drive. Found this stalled tractor trailer. Heroes with it. He's about to block 2 right lanes before I-75 exit 20, so that ride is going to stay slow. And some volume downtown, 75-85 south from 17th Street down toward North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny today, highs in the mid-60s.
It's 64 degrees in Avondale Estates, 64 in Vinings, and it's 63 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 2:06. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Greetings, conversationalists. It's Eric Erickson here from my flagship station in Atlanta, Georgia, broadcasting over the internet and satellite to wherever you are, and I am delighted that I have your ears and attention. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you wish to be on the program, Full Swing Season 3 on Netflix is coming back. Going to focus on Scotty Scheffler's PGA Championship race. Just saw that, and Rory McIlroy's divorce happened. Well, I love that show. I'm already addicted to golf, and that show just feeds the vice. And Andor, the trailer for the new season has come out for Disney. That is a fantastic show. Now, we got to actually talk about news. But to talk about the news, I'm actually going to start with the caller, which I rarely ever do. But Carlos has been waiting. It's a relevant subject, and Charlie said, spend a little time here. So no short segment phone call here. Carlos, you have my attention. Welcome to the show. How are you?
How you doing, Eric? How you doing today, man?
Great.
Great. Love your show. Listen all the time. So the subject that I want to discuss, man. So I'm a conservative. I grew up in rural Alabama. I'm in Georgia now, and a lot of the values are conservative values we've always have. My family has military background. I've served myself, just so on and so on. So, but talking to my fellow counterparts in the black community is like pulling teeth, Eric. I mean, it's insane, the cliffs that some of them are falling off on. And I was talking to your call screener, and my concern was when speaking with them, trying to understand how to get across to them. From what I've noticed from media and the news, whether it's local news or whatnot, and just me sitting back and just using common sense, like you always says, it seems like the far left and liberal. Well, first let me say this: the black community aligns, if to be honest, with conservative values to the T. Mm-hmm. To the T, whether it's Christian values, whether it's military service, whether it's blue-collar, hard work ethic, that's the majority of the black community. So when we get into topics about the far left and sex change operations and whatnot, however you want to spin it, it's confusing trying to get across to them. And what I've noticed is that anytime the far left wants to do anything, it's like they attach their perspective or their agenda to the black community because they know the black community likes to move in groups as one in unison. It could be something totally ignorant. And if the black community sets off that flag, they will come crying. It would be a rally cry. And it's confusing to me because the black community, for the majority, we don't align with the far left values at all. At all. And I try to get them to understand, like, man, look, they don't like, for instance, Black Lives Matter had nothing to do with Black Lives Mattering. It had nothing to do with blacks at all. But what did they do? They aligned it, attached it to the black, and here come all the black people with the war cries, and I'm trying to get them to understand anything they want to do, they attach it to the black community, and they make the black community feel as if you can't get what you want unless you vote for me. And when you vote for them, what they do is they slide their agenda right onto the door, straight through with it, and everybody's sitting around looking stupid. So how can I move forward in the conversations that aren't just ignorant?
Well, Carlos, first of all, I would just like to commend your bravery on calling perhaps the whitest person in radio to ask this question to. I mean, y'all, I don't wear white socks because I wouldn't be able to find them to get it off my feet. My legs are so white. But, okay, so serious talk here, though. One, I think Donald Trump is the most effective messenger in the black community for Donald Trump and his side, and the data in the election showed it. There are a couple of things here, and I'm going to be insulting to people, and I don't mean to be, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. One of the problems that the Republican Party and conservatives have is that they have some of the biggest hucksters and charlatans in the black community trying to go into the black community and talk to them. And they think if they sound black and they happen to be black, and they're fools. And one of the things that has always bugged me about Republican outreach in the black community is how you have some of the biggest frauds that go into the black community and think, well, I'm black and I'm going to talk to them, and they don't relate to them. They don't live in the community. And that has always frustrated me. There are some great, powerful, influential, and impressive black voices on the right that need to be the ones who speak, as opposed to some of these. It's like sending the guy to speak to the Hispanic community, and the only word he knows is hola, and he starts his speech that way. It's bad. Now, in the real world practical terms, Carlos, my experience, and so I mean, listening to have a national audience here, but I'm going to say I live in Middle Georgia. I live in the most diverse neighborhood in Middle Georgia. I have friends of mine on one side who are white. I have friends of mine on the other side who are black. I've got Indian friends down the street. I was a lawyer and had a disproportionately high number of black clients. I have helped Democrats get elected who were black, who were actually more conservative than the white people they were running against. And here's the thing, is there are an increasing number of people in the black community realizing they have been disserved by the Democratic Party. And the number one way that Republicans have been able to convince black voters to vote for Republicans is to introduce and pass school choice in communities. If you will recall, Nathan Deal in Georgia wanted to expand charter schools in the state. Every major prominent African-American group in the state and every major black pastor in the state was opposed to it, but black moms sided with the white Republicans on charter schools. In Florida, Ron DeSantis would have lost to Andrew Gillum, but for black mothers voting for Ron DeSantis because of school choice. Andrew Gillum said he was going to kill the program. And in the re-election against Charlie Crist, overwhelmingly, the highest number of black families voted for Ron DeSantis. Interestingly, single black voters voted for Charlie Crist, but married black voters voted for Ron DeSantis. It's a policy choice. And that is where I think this comes to you, is not politically, but in your lived experience when these conversations come up with your friends, talking about those policy changes in a non-political way lures people to the right. So, for example, it's going to be, I still think, many election cycles between now and the time a majority of black voters vote Republican. But you can see the trend lines, because as the Democratic Party gets more uppity and white, more Hispanic and black voters, they don't want to be the party of Karens. They want to be with common sense people. Black mothers want their children to go to college, and when their athletic black daughter is losing scholarships to some white dude who now claims his name is Sarah, you got a problem. And it translates. And then jobs translate. The Democratic Party is killing jobs. And Welfare is no longer the thing it used to be. Affirmative action and diversity, equity, inclusion programs foster resentment. A black guy gets a job in this country, and people are like, well, did you deserve it, or was it affirmative action?
Right.
He hates it. It's a stigma. So I actually think the trend lines are headed in the right direction. What I would encourage you to do is just continue the conversation and not make it political, just pointing out how these people are insane. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing. These people aren't going to stand up and say, I'm voting Republican, but they're going to quietly do it in the voting booth where they don't have to tell anybody.
That's right. Hey, Eric, one more thing real quick.
All right.
Hey, so I'm going to take your advice, and I think you're 100% correct with that, because yesterday I actually tried something like that, and I was having a conversation with somebody. They took an Uber, and the Uber was insane. It was like $50 just to go from Fairburn, Georgia, to the airport. And anybody who knows that area up 85 is literally 3 exits away.
Yeah.
And so, but I remember from listening, I pay attention, I'm observing about Governor Kemp and tort reform. And so when we're talking about, man, these are so high, I said, well, you know where 23% of your cost is coming from? It's coming from the insurance companies. You're paying for the insurance, but Governor Kemp is going to do this tort reform. What that's going to do is going to kill out all this crazy suing that'll help bring down the price of insurance that these insurance companies are trying to use to replace the finances that they lost in paying all these lawsuits off. And they was like, oh, man, if he can get that done, that's good. And I already told people, Governor Kemp ever runs for president, he has my vote. I mean, he does.
Yeah, listen, man, it is common sense.
Eric, man. I really do, man.
Carlos,
I really do.
I appreciate you calling. And again, hats off to you calling one of the whitest people in radio to ask what a black man can do to convince black voters to vote Republican. In all seriousness, though. Seriously, though, it is, you know, so when the Bible, for example, says love your neighbor, it's a deeper thing than just checking a box. And you got to live relationally with people. And one of my biggest problems with the way Republicans for so long engaged the black community was very transactional. You never saw them until right before an election. And when you talk to Hispanic and black voters, up until Donald Trump, that was one of their biggest complaints about the Republican Party, is they were nowhere to be seen until an election was coming. And then they'd want your vote. Well, what did you do for them lately? What did you do for them relationally? And the Democratic community, the Democratic Party is largely embedded within these communities, and they're always a permanent presence. Republicans need to do a better job of constituent service for the black community. The black community, I know from having worked for members of Congress, does not necessarily trust that a Republican member of Congress is going to be as committed to their constituent service as a black member of Congress. You got to work on that. You got to be in their communities. You got to be seen in their communities. And the fact of the matter is that black moms and dads want safe communities for their kids, and they want good education for their kids. And I will, until the day I die, continue to beat the drum to the GOP that if you wish to grow your number of non-white voters, you must enact aggressive school choice. You must make it easy for black mothers and fathers to get their children out of their failing government schools. In Texas right now, they're having a huge fight. What is remarkable to me is that the loudest voices in opposition to school choice are wealthy white Democrats who send their children to private school. It's not a coincidence. Not a coincidence at all. That the loudest voices in opposition to school choice are people who choose to send their children to private school and then claim that it would be a burden on the government if a poor black family were allowed into that school. You want to make a generation of black Democrats become Republican, you give them safe communities and school choice, and the data shows over time, every single state, this is not an exaggeration, every single state that has enacted school choice has seen black and Hispanic voters shift to the right. Every single state that has enacted school choice has seen black and Hispanic voters move toward the Republican Party. School choice is the number one driver for political change in black families. Why? Because Democrats are so invested in education teachers unions, they can't support school choice. And once a black mother, black father has experienced school choice in their family, they loathe the idea of giving it up. So you enact school choice, you start bringing new generations of non-white voters into the Republican Party. It really is that straightforward.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes.
220 Cool Day Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory now coming out of Sandy Springs, heading toward Cobb County. Got a crash or stalled big rig, 2 right lanes, 285 westbound, the outer loop right before 75 northbound. Might want to think about 85 south to 400 north as an alternate, and still a left lane crash in Dorville, 285 east, the inner loop ramp to 85 north. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
News.
Atlanta police on the lookout.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
2 people are dead and 19 others are injured after a small plane crashed.
And when it breaks.
Johnson with 218 votes right now, and it appears that would be enough to get him reelected House Speaker.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's breaking news station.
We are here with Aaron Vincent and Matthew Decker of the Vincent Financial Group. And gentlemen, when we talk about customizing a retirement plan, where is the most important place to start?
The most important place to start is with risk, because everything's built on that. We use this analogy like your financial house. The most important aspect of your house is the foundation. It doesn't matter how well you do the rest of your house. If that part is not correct, everything else is going to suffer.
Yeah, not only is it the place to start, but people come into the office and, they'll have questions about, where do we start and how do we do this? And first we have to outline what the risks are. And so a lot of times we'll ask like, well, you've worked so hard for the last 20, 30 years, you're getting ready to retire. What are the things that you're worried about? People say healthcare, inflation, taxes, market volatility. And we're like, yep, totally. Those are all absolutely risks to your retirement. But actually, the number one risk to your retirement, unfortunately, is you. Most people don't even know how much risk they're actually taking in their portfolio. But if you don't know how much risk you're taking in your portfolio, if you're not comfortable with the level of risk that you're taking in your portfolio, if you've never had this conversation before, I'm going to invite you to have the conversation with our team. It takes 15 minutes. We can do it over the phone. We'd love to do it in person, but you start the process with a phone call. If you're married, we'll have both of you. We'll find out your risk scores, have a conversation about it, and you will have more context with what you're currently doing and maybe what you should do into the future.
So ask yourself, am I taking too much risk in my portfolio or maybe not enough? We invite you to call the Vincent Financial Group today and ask for the no-cost, no-obligation risk assessment. 770-280-1488. That's 770-280-1488. We're always online at retireatlradio.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. A 401k assessment does not constitute a comprehensive retirement plan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
So, you don't park in your garage anymore because your garage door is broken? That's it? Oh, well, too bad. Been meaning to fix it. How much other stuff in your house doesn't work? TV only gets even-numbered channels when it rains. Coffee maker only makes a cup and a half before it quits. If your dishwasher didn't wash, or your printer didn't print, or your vacuum cleaner didn't suck, you'd fix it. Why aren't you parking your car in this clean, dry, awesome garage just because your garage door is broken? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. We have the parts, tools, and the experience to fix what's broken. An expert repair and a fresh overhaul, and you'll get years of service out of your current system without spending a fortune to replace the whole thing. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage, and we'll come over and make it right. Because if it is broke, you do fix it.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic. 5-5 WSB.
All the information without the spin. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number 877-973-7425. Pope Francis is in critical condition. Doctors are right now saying that he has shown some slight improvement in laboratory tests and decided to do some work today. He's got pneumonia in both lungs and has shown a decline in his kidney function. The chaplain at the hospital has released a statement saying it's the hour of hope against all hope. That being said, the doctors themselves say they are not as alarmed, but those close to the pontiff are expressing concerns about his health and his the duration that he stays inside the hospital. So keep the Pope in your. You know, I'm not a Catholic. I'm a good Calvinist Presbyterian, but I have a lot of dear friends of mine who are Catholic, and while they are most of them not fans of the Pope, it still is a big deal when the Pope is in decline. It's very rare to see the replacement of a Pope. All right. I want to take phone calls when we come back, 877-973-7425. However, and I also got to talk about MSNBC. Before I do anything else, though, I got to just remind my Georgia audience that I have an action alert for you. If you text the word engage to 33777, you can call your state House Representatives member to oppose the cameras, the speed cameras outside of schools. If you're in Georgia, text the word engage to 33777 as this thing heads to a vote. Now, when we come back, I do want to take phone calls, but I also got to talk about what's happening with the media because there is this discombobulation. Lester Holt is leaving. He's been the head of the NBC Nightly News for 10 years. It's kind of wild how, Williams wanted it, and I can picture his head now. I can't remember his first name, which is no big deal because he was forgotten pretty quickly after he was there and exaggerated stories, so they kicked him over to MSNBC. And he coveted the job from Tom Brokaw, but man, they don't stick around. When I was a kid, you had Dan Rather was there forever, Peter Jennings till he died of lung cancer, and Tom Brokaw was there for absolutely forever. And now it's like every 5 to 10 years these nights. And you know, that's still the most watched thing on TV is the nightly news. ABC, CBS, and NBC. The most watched thing on TV these days is still that newscast. David Muir at ABC now. You got Norah O'Donnell just left CBS. They got a complete just poop show over there now. And now Lester Holt leaving. Just kind of wild. And Joy Reid out of a job. We'll get into that when we come back. Right now, I got to tell you, Hillsdale College is making some of their great classes available for you online. And you can do them at your own pace in their video series. So if you go to ericforhillsdale.com today, you've got 40 different classes you can choose from, ranging from Christianity to economics to chemistry to political theory to history. The history ones I love. They do such a good job. It's with some of their best faculty, their video lectures. Each class is about 30 minutes. The number of episodes depends on the topic. Some are 6 episodes, some are 12 or 13 episodes. But they're an in-depth dive you can do at your own pace for absolutely no charge whatsoever. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up at Hillsdale College, begin a relationship with them, improve your mind, find something you're interested in, and learn what you can from the experts at Hillsdale College. They're really, really good. The ones on the Roman Republic, great. ericforhillsdale.com. Go sign up with Hillsdale College today. Start a relationship with them. You will not regret it.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 2:30. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this half hour is brought to you by FGA Roofing. WSB's top local story, the FAA will investigate the turnaround of a Delta flight this morning at Hartsfield-Jackson. A Delta spokesperson says the Columbia, South Carolina-bound plane had, quote, haze inside the aircraft. The FAA says the flight crew reported possible smoke in the flight deck. Videos on board show passengers quiet, covering their noses and mouths as Flight 876 turned back. Atlanta Fire Rescue helped as flyers used the jet's slides to deplane. No word on any injuries. Cobb County Police say they're looking for a single shooter after last night's double shooting at the main event on Cobb Parkway. Officers responding found two gunshot victims at the entertainment center shortly after 9 p.m., both of them adult males taken to the hospital for treatment. The FDA is calling back some of the hundreds of employees fired last week. Most of the Food and Drug Administration workers being brought back in are responsible for reviewing medical devices. This after corporate lobbyists said the cuts would harm their industries. The state Senate passes a Republican-backed bill, which the lieutenant governor is calling Georgia Doge. The bill would require that any state agency, rule, or regulation with a more than $1 million budget impact would need to be reapproved by lawmakers every 4 years. French President Emmanuel Macron visits the White House today. He and President Trump say it was a good meeting. Trump says Russian leader Vladimir Putin would accept European peacekeepers in Ukraine as part of a potential deal to end Russia's war there. Today marks 3 years since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Medical update on the Pope this hour. Pope Francis is resting and eating normally as he remains hospitalized. The Vatican saying today the Pope slept through the night. He's in good spirits. He, you might remember, was sent to the hospital earlier this month after coming down with bronchitis, and the 88-year-old was diagnosed earlier this week with double pneumonia. NBC Nightly News anchor Lester Holt is stepping down. The 65-year-old is the anchor and managing editor of the show and says he's stepping away from the broadcast at the beginning of the summer. He's been anchoring the show for 10 years. The network says Holt will continue his duties anchoring Dateline. It's 2:32. Live team coverage of traffic and weather straight ahead.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
February is Heart Health Month, and there's no better time to take care of your heart. This is Scott Slade. It's the perfect month to call Virtual Imaging and get your free heart scan to help you stay ahead of heart disease before you even know there's a problem. You've been hearing us talk about how Virtual Imaging's free heart scan can save lives. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States, and any problem with your heart that you can detect early means you have a better chance of living a longer life. Call Virtual Imaging today and get your free heart scan. What are you waiting for? Call 770-678-SCAN. It's quick, painless, and you'll get a clear picture of your heart's health so you know where you stand. And it's a great way to mark Heart Health Month. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Virtual Imaging now and schedule your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements. It's quick, easy, and could save your life. I've done it. Call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Because your heart deserves it. If not for yourself, do it for your family.
If it's the big story, it's on 2. Channel 2 Action News this morning. I'm Fred Blankenship.
And I'm Lori Wilson. Big stories are always breaking. It may start in the morning, but the impact continues all day.
We're constantly working to bring you fresh information from different perspectives.
This is Developing Live. Our reporters are working to get you all the angles right now.
When it comes to the big story, this is always the place to get ready for your day.
Join us on Channel 2 Action News this morning every day, 4:30 to 7.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather now. Alex Williams, how's the afternoon drive?
Some better news coming out of Sandy Springs into Cobb. Stalled Big Rig. They got it to the right shoulder. All lanes open. 285 west, the outer loop before 75, but damage done. You're slow coming over from Georgia 400. And still got this crash in DeKalb County. It's in the left lane of the 285 eastbound inner loop ramp to I-85 north. Those delays start back at Chamblee-Dunwoody Road, exit number 30. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly sunny today, highs in the mid-60s.
65 degrees in Fairburn, 65 in Fayetteville, and it's 64 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 235 on 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, because the truth is what matters. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across America. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I'd love to have you. I want to go to the phones here. Bill's been waiting patiently. Welcome to the show, Bill. How are you?
How you doing, Eric? I was just everything that I hear on the news about these civilian workers being let go, every single one of them says, all I've had is outstanding, superior performances, and why are they doing this to me? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I was a dentist in the Army, and I had to take over a colonel's spot because of health reasons for him, and I inherited his dental assistant. Well, she was horrible. She was horrible. And so I gave her, when it came time to do her performance review, I gave her a average rating. You would have thought that I started World War III. CPO got involved. I mean, nobody would talk to me anymore, the civilian, dental assistant. And so I said, well, hey, you know what? This isn't worth it. And so I upgraded her against my better judgment to a superior rating that she's getting all along and did not deserve.
Wow. Okay, so first of all, Bill, I got to say I'm impressed you're willing to admit it. But also, I mean, you're not alone in having stories like this. You are not alone in these sorts of stories. Everybody, it's like grade inflation in high school now. Everybody gets a good review, or else
Absolutely.
It's a bureaucratic HR nightmare for you.
Yep.
So
that's exactly right. And Eric, there was also, being an officer, I had people that I had to give annual ratings to, and God forbid I give somebody something else rather than the top block. And I'll tell you what, I was in the Army for 20 years, and I don't know how many of those damn reports I did, but I was never so happy to retire and not having to deal with that.
Yeah, Bill, I got to say, and I appreciate the story, and I hear this a lot. So as everyone on my team knows, I give them all substandard reviews, so that I never have to worry about having given them a good review and then they do something bad and have to get a bad. I just give them bad reviews the whole time. And I fire them regularly. And I'm a magnanimous, generous boss. I rehire them typically by the end of the day, so they don't actually have to go out and get a real job. They can continue to work for me. But, yeah, I want my employees to know I have a low opinion of them. And, I mean, it keeps them trying to do better. They're about to sabotage the line out, so the show goes off there. Speaking of people who do terrible jobs, let's talk about Joy Reid. So, here's the thing you have to understand about MSNBC. There's something in radio called the demo. The demo. The demo is the demographic of people watching or listening that advertisers care about. And the demo is 25 to 54-year-olds. Advertisers really care about the 25 to 34-year-olds. And they care about the 25 to 34-year-olds, and their thinking is this. If between 25 and 34 you start making money, you get a real job, you're out of college, you're off the parents, you start making money, You start finding brands, and as you lock into those brands, you become loyal to brands. And then the 35 to 54 demographic, that's where the rubber hits the road. That those are prime dollars spent. But the advertisers like 25 to 34, because 25 to 34, you're locking into brands. 35 to 54, you've committed to the brand and you're spending now. So 25 to 54 overall is called the demo. That's what advertisers care about. And your demo, the number of people who watch or listen based on that demo, sets your advertising rate. So, for example, I have a fantastic number in the demo. Wherever meters are, I do great. And on my flagship station for like 8 consecutive months, number one, across formats, music or talk. And I generate a lot of money because the ratings are good. MSNBC might get 1 million people watching, but in the 25 to 54-year-old demo, it might be 78,000 people. Advertisers don't like that. Why? Because who's watching MSNBC? You got 1 million people watching, and your demo, let's just say it's 100,000 people, 25-54. You know what that means? It means 900,000 people watching that show on MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, are in a nursing home somewhere about to die, and advertisers don't particularly care for them. They don't listen. I love you. If you're over the age of 54 and you're listening to my program, I love you. I adore you. I wish you long life and good health and keep listening. But it's the advertisers who don't care about you anymore. You're headed into retirement. You're cutting back on your spending. They just don't care about you. Rachel Maddow, MSNBC, their whole audience is super, super, super ancient. I saw a demo last week for one MSNBC show, and it might have been Joy Reid. And it was in like the middle of the week, and Joy Reid was maybe getting 50,000 people nationwide in the demo, and she wasn't getting more than a few 100,000 people overall. Nobody listens to Joy Reid because if you listen to Joy Reid, you become stupid. And her show is going away this week. Rebecca Kaplan, I think it is. I knew her when she was at CNN. She's actually a very good people person. She handles talent very well. She's now in charge of MSNBC, and she's culling the herd, getting rid of Joy Reid. She's rearranging stuff. She wants to elevate Jen Psaki. Now, this is MSNBC, though, so you can't promote a bunch of white people at MSNBC, or there will be hell to pay whether they're good or not. So she's also doing she's replacing Joy Reid with some talking heads. There's going to be non-white people, Michael Steele, Simone Sanders, and some others that aren't particularly that good, but they're better and actually not crazy, unlike Joy Reid, who actually is an insane person. She is a deeply racist, malevolent, malcontented soul who everything is interpreted through a racial lens, and you come away from her show profoundly more stupid than you started. She's going away. But also, as I mentioned in the last segment, Lester Holt is leaving NBC News. Now, NBC is going through an upheaval, so I don't know what they're going to do here. So you've got CNBC, you got MSNBC, you've got NBC. NBC and they're all owned by Comcast. Comcast wants to hold on to NBC News and the NBC News division, but sell MSNBC. But no one wants MSNBC. Literally, there's no market out there for MSNBC. So they're having to add on CNBC, which people actually do care about, and the Golf Channel. More people care about the Golf Channel than care about MSNBC. So to get some sucker out there to buy MSNBC, they're going to have to give them CNBC, the Golf Channel, and a bunch of other stuff as well. See, here's the dirty little secret. Cable companies don't actually want MSNBC because they don't have a lot of eyeballs. I mean, on any given night, Fox News has more people in the demo, upwards of 1 million people, to MSNBC having 50,000. CNN actually has fewer eyeballs on most shows than MSNBC, but has many more people inside the demo watching. CNN is more profitable than MSNBC because of the number of people in the demo who watch CNN compared to MSNBC. CNN has more value. CNN also has a reputation and a brand that's better than MSNBC. So cable companies don't want MSNBC. They want CNBC. They want the Golf Channel. They want other channels that Comcast owns. But to get those channels, they're required to put MSNBC on. That's why you have these cable packages where, like, you want to get Fox News for the longest time. You also had to get, if you wanted Fox News, because Fox is big, you had to get other stations like FX and stuff that maybe the cable companies didn't want. You want to get the Golf Channel. You want to get CNBC. Well, you've also got to take MSNBC. Well, Comcast is spinning all those off. They got to find some value there, and MSNBC doesn't offer a lot of value because they have people like Joy Reid. The most valuable property at MSNBC is actually Morning Joe. Morning Joe may not have the largest audience, but Morning Joe has one of the most influential audiences. Members of Capitol Hill on both sides of the aisle, a lot of business industries and lobbyists, they watch Morning Joe in the mornings. Now, the problem there is that Morning Joe, we can all agree, and I like Joe and Mika fine personally, but the show has catered more and more to the left as MSNBC's partisan demographic has shifted overall to the left. Morning Joe, it used to be more, it was center left always, but it's definitely moved further to the left. And that's alienated people as well. That network is just, I mean, for all of the slander and lies that people in the media make about Fox News, the reality is MSNBC is far more partisan and far more angry than Fox News has ever been. But the larger issue here is the media overall. Lester Holt leaving, Norah O'Donnell leaving. The nightly news on ABC, NBC, and CBS still remains one of the most watched TV shows. Those three network shows remain highly influential for people. They come home from work. They want to catch up on the news. It's a 30-minute condensed show. They catch the big news, often shaped by the left, and then they go on about their business. You know what's really causing things to shift is the niche media. Now, if I was an elitist MSNBC viewer, I would say niche. It's a niche. And people are going off and they're finding their news and they're curating it through niche markets that are growing. So you as a personality can be a brand. You don't need MSNBC or NBC or CBS or ABC behind you. You just need Eric Erickson. You need your name. And if you have a reputation and you have a following, you can be the news and you can set the news and you can tell people the news. And that's what a lot of people are missing. Except, I think I saw Clay Travis, somebody mention there are people like Don Lemon. Don Lemon was a big deal on CNN. He got lots of attention and people talked about Don Lemon. Don Lemon left CNN, and he's a nobody now. Nobody cares about Don Lemon. He never made a brand for himself. He was never seen as a reliable narrator of events. And so he left a network that he needed and is nobody now. The news is being upended. The news is changing pretty dramatically. So listener Chris emailed me. He says, does everybody checked into hotels get credit as watching the news because they always have the news on these? No, they don't actually. There's a way to track what people are watching and who is watching. They use little devices. And so, yeah, leaving it on all the time in the hotel lobby and stuff doesn't really count for tracking news. A lot of people say that about CNN, that, CNN has so many more so many eyeballs because it's on every TV in the airport and it's on lobbies. That's not actually true. It's what people tell themselves. There's a rating system. They use statistical sampling, and you don't get credit for just being on the hotel ballroom or the lobby. But all of the media is being upended, and radio is being upended as well. A lot of people in charge of radio don't particularly like talk radio, but talk radio still brings a premium. Much like a lot of people don't like Fox News, but Fox News brings a premium. Conservative talk radio still brings a premium to radio these days. But MSNBC doesn't bring a premium. It makes you stupider, and they're finally decided they got to make changes. And one of their big changes is going to get rid of the stupidest person on MSNBC, Joy Reid. I feel bad oftentimes when people lose jobs, but not Joy Reid. Sometimes it's just delightful to watch bad things happen to bad people, and she's a terrible person and finally gets her comeuppance. Well, you may be getting your comeuppance in the market. Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash. They're the trusted leader in precious metals and have been for 40 years. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, and they would love to educate you about the secret war on cash that's happening, where the government is trying to make sure your Anonymous purchases are not. It even applies to cryptocurrency. They have a report they would love to give you completely for free called The Secret War on Cash. Takes less than 15 minutes to read. There is no charge for you to get the report. All you have to do is call or text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. The All Out War on Cash does include digital forms of currency. The government is trying to track every which way you spend your cash. Your anonymous purchases, not so much. 800-289-2646. You get the Secret War on Cash report completely free from Swiss America. Just mention Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or you text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. The report is completely free from Swiss America. Message and data rates may apply.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still got this crash. I think they're about to clear from the left lane, but nonetheless still there right now. The 285 East, Interloop Rantai, 85 northbound in Spaghetti Junction. 285 westbound, the outer loop, you're still seeing some brake lights from Georgia 400. It's in recovery mode heading over to Cobb County. We had earlier trouble clear off to the right before I-75, and still got the right lane roadwork 575 northbound heading up toward Woodstock just past Bells Ferry Road, exit 4. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
Your baby is ugly.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
I abhor violence, unless it's on the football field where it belongs.
And some advice.
A meme coin, of course, something I don't really understand. Don't ever buy one. There you go. I just gave you some great advice.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
A popular retirement myth is that once you retire, taxes go away. Not so much. We're here with Aaron Vincent of the Vincent Financial Group, and let's talk about the importance of having a tax strategy, not just now, but into and through retirement.
Taxes will be your biggest expense in retirement. I love analogies. So whenever I was a kid, I got in trouble sometimes. When I reached a certain age, my parents gave me the option. They said, hey, you can either choose to get the spanking or you can choose to be grounded for the next week. The choice was mine. Do I want spanking? Like you're going to choose the pain of right now? Ugh. Or you're going to choose the purgatory of pain of just the over and over again. Every day you wake up, your friends are playing outside, and you get to sit in your room and look out the window and watch them play because you chose the grounding because you didn't want the upfront pain. I mean, that's a tough choice to make. That's basically, in a nutshell, Mark, when you say, well, what can you do? What are some tax strategies? I'm here to tell you right now, we don't have a magic wand, and we can't just say, hey, come work with us, and no longer do you pay taxes anymore. That's just not real. There are definitely strategies that will help mitigate the amount of taxes that you'll pay. We can calculate how much you'll pay over your retirement, and we can determine what that tax bill will be. That's the grounding. That's the default path. That's the one that if you don't have a plan for your money, you fall into the government's plan for your money, and that is that you choose the grounding. Who wants to feel pain now? Who's going to choose pain? I'll raise my hand and say, yeah, I want the spanking. If you don't even know it's an option, you're definitely not choosing it. Well, so the point is, there are strategies. There are things that you can do to mitigate those taxes that you're going to pay over a 30 or 40-year period of time, but you got to choose the spanking.
The choice is yours. Pay a little more now or a lot later. Call the team at the Vincent Financial Group and take advantage of their no-cost, no-obligation tax map. 770-280-1488. That's 770-280-1488 or online at retireatlradio.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. A 401k assessment does not constitute a comprehensive retirement plan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the award-winning online learning program.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Designed by education experts, ABC Mouse seamlessly aligns with what your child is already learning in school. And with over 10,000 learning activities and more than 850 lessons, it's an engaging and comprehensive curriculum. More info at abcmouse.com/radio.
I have been teaching for 13 years, and I've never seen a program like ABC Mouse. It encompasses science, math, reading, social studies.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Join Eric's army of activists and let your voice be heard. Text ARMY to 33777.
Howdy. It is Eric Erickson here, and it is too late for you to call the show, so there absolutely is no reason to give you the phone number. I wish you guys all watched Severance so we could talk about it. You know, this is one of the problems with streaming is some networks, Netflix still as a rule dumps all their episodes. So like Full Swing comes out tomorrow, and I will binge watch Full Swing. But then Disney and Apple and Amazon Prime, they trickle out episodes once a week. It's like real TV. You don't get everything all at once. And so Severance comes out like 11 p.m. on Thursday nights, typically for Friday. Jack Reacher's back. By the way, so I've been watching the third season of Reacher, Amazon Prime. Very good. The first 3 episodes are out, and then they'll trickle out once a week. At least I'm back to having stuff to watch, because for a while there was, Silo went off and there was nothing, but Severance is such a weird, good show. But I got one friend of mine I can talk to about it who's caught up. It just, none of us can have our water cooler time anymore to talk about TV shows. And it's very depressing. It's a breakdown in society. And this gets me to the hockey. So the Four Nations tournament, something like 10 million, 9.5 to 10 million people watched the Four Nations hockey tournament, where it was Finland, Sweden, the U.S. and Canada, the Russians not allowed. And clearly there is a national desire for communal sports watching, because we don't have anything else in common anymore as a country to watch unless it's a national tragedy. Something bad happens, we all tune into the TV, but fun things happen. Nobody watches the same shows anymore because streaming has ruined it. And more sporting events are on streaming, which is just tearing apart the fabric of society. I just, y'all can tell, can't you, that, what we have right now isn't it. None of us may want to have massive cable packages anymore. I may be the last person in America. I still got a landline and a cable package. I am unique. Nobody really wants the streaming fragmentation we have right now. Do I watch the game on Prime? Do I watch the game on ESPN? I was directed to a hockey game last night on Amazon Prime, and then on Amazon Prime it told me I couldn't watch it because of where I lived. And then I got on the ESPN streaming package, and I got it on ESPN Plus. It was all very confusing. It makes it very difficult for the technologically non-inclined, like my dad, who's a massive sports fan. But how to get him to watch it and where to watch it and all that is just a pain in the butt. I think we can kind of get a glimpse of the future in streaming right now. But I pray that this is not it. There's got to be a better way. I kind of wish Steve Jobs were still alive, because I think his ideas and force of personality would have solved the split streaming problem right now. It's just very aggravating. The Netflix doesn't play well with anyone else, so they don't integrate it like the Apple TV package. It's just, I don't like it. I also don't like that football is gone and you're struggling to find stuff to watch. At least last night on the front porch, I got to watch hockey. I'm not going to watch basketball. Not a basketball fan. No offense to you basketball people. Just don't care for it. But when hockey goes away, at least baseball will start back. But honestly, baseball's kind of boring to watch. Fun to go to the game, boring to watch on TV. So I just need you all to be involved on my streaming shows, and y'all all go watch Severance on Apple TV so we can talk about it without spoilers.